Gamerinos! Nintendo's Sakurai problem by Critical Error. Now, Stormcast, one of the premium high-tier reactors, has decided to write this as a bit of preamble. Also, is Sakurai, a well-respected video game developer who knows how to really wow an audience with a presentation. At least that's the commonly held opinion by most. The boys down at the Critical Error podcast seem to have some choice words about the man and this presentation. After watching the video for myself, I'd say it's chicanery enough to be worth a look. Jake, left guy, and Peter, right guy, certainly had points, but to speak for themselves, I once again give out relevant timestamps. So just to clarify, this was, I'm guessing, in response to Kirby Air Riders Direct. Now, if you're asking my quick thoughts on the Kirby Air Riders Direct, I would say I really enjoyed it. Maybe a bit bloated, but not only was it just nice to see Sakurai again, because it's just been a while since I've seen him, but also I felt like he injected a bit of energy that I quite enjoyed, and I felt like I learned enough as somebody who is interested in Air Riders but doesn't know what it's about to feel like I got my time's worth. I felt like I was way more sold leaving than I was going in. And ideally, that's what a Direct does. The reason I didn't watch the DK Bonanza Direct, because I knew I was going to buy it. I didn't watch it. But with the Air Riders Direct, I was kind of like, I don't know. And leaving, I'm like, I think I'll buy that. But it seems like the boys here don't really agree, I suppose. Now, if I'm playing a bit of devil's advocate, I will admit there is definitely a little bit of we love Daddy Sakurai on the internet. There is a little bit of that, but I would chalk that up to people on the line, and I would just kind of ignore it. Like, for example, I remember when I said I wouldn't mind the idea of the next Smash game not having Sakurai, there was definitely like a person or two on the channel. I was like, Moresty, how could you say that? I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't mind it. I love Sakurai and what he does, but I'd be open to the idea. But either way, let's start with the very beginning of the video. And take it away, Mr. Critical Error.
I feel like the Masahiro Sakurai glazing is just out of control.
Right from the rip, he's already staked this claim, gamers.
Yes, because you can't just show me like a game from 20 years ago and be like, it's new and good now, actually.
Listen, I'll give you guys props. That is one hell of a stinger. And listen, Hot Wheels, are you taking notes? That's how you do a sizzle reel. I'm invested now. I mean, I'm sat.
Critical error is an error which the OS cannot reasonably ignore. Jake Steinberg is a streamer, writer, and certified yapper. Complimentary.
Oh, a bit like me.
Peter Hunt Spit Tech is a YouTuber, journalist, and certified yapper.
Oh, so both yappers.
These are the things they cannot reasonably ignore.
So we all gather around our computers to watch Sakurai talk about Kirby Air Riders for 45 minutes. I want to remind everybody that it is August of 2025. Kirby Air Riders is coming out in November.
Okay.
We got to see Sakurai explain to us the delicate intricacies of his design. We got to learn things like how to steer, how to go forward. The fact that the Warp Star...
God, brothers fired up right from the rip. Holy shit, god damn. He drank his hair juice this morning. Fucking RF.
That Kirby is
He's
riding
on the attack.
does not create friction with the ground below him. It instead hovers. This is the great insight from one of the greatest directors, video game minds of our time. Thank you.
Jake, before we even like get into that, did the fact that it was 45 minutes, like before it even started, when it was like 45 minutes long, did that make you think that it was going to be something maybe different than what it was?
To be honest, okay, Chad, now this is a good question for you. Did you think that the Direct was going to be more than it was? If you're asking me personally, I just thought it was going to be information about the game, and that was, yeah, I thought that was about what I expected. You show me the game, you show me some of the modes, show me some of the new stuff, and you wrap it up, little bro. It was pretty much what I expected. It's what I expected. I know Sakurai does his Directs. It was exactly what I thought. So it seems like the general consensus from the chat is, I got my time's worth. What does Jake think?
It being 45 minutes long convinced me that there was something about this game that I did not know, that I wouldn't have been able to guess about before the presentation. And obviously that turned out not to be the case.
Because Kirby Air Ride, like the original from like 2003, is like sort of like infamously known for being an incredibly simple game. Like the whole thing about it is it has one button.
Yes.
It is a one-button game.
Okay, but like, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a simple game. Is he doing like, what was that Twitter thread we looked at last time, chat, where somebody said, why would you watch a Direct of a game you're not interested in? Or the game you don't know? So, like, I think we saw that last stream. Someone said that in reference to me. I'm just like, I don't, to be strange. I'll let him keep going, I guess.
which I think can work. And I would like to also like get in front of this and say, I like Kirby Air Ride, and I'm actually interested in Kirby Air Riders. There were bits about that presentation where I was like, I'm sold, I'm interested, I'm down. But because they were like, this is 45 minutes, I was like, damn, they are like changing up what this game is going to be. If you need 45 minutes to explain what the sequel to Kirby Air Ride is going to be,
yes,
then you are actually bringing something new to the table.
See, I feel like I had my expectations a bit more reasonably tuned because of the Mario Kart World Direct. The Mario Kart World Direct was literally just, oh, hey, here's the things that you've seen before. And it's like, oh, that was a bit lame. So then it kind of said to me, okay, the Directs are mostly for people who probably aren't sold that want to see a bit more. That's why I didn't watch the DKB one. I did watch the Kirby Air Riders one. Is it fair for me to assume you should have picked up on that? Maybe it's unfair for me to assume, but maybe this could be your lesson learned, I guess. If you're already sold on a game, then probably just don't bother watching the Direct. But then you can make the argument, what's the point of them making a Direct if they're not going to like try and like make it as impressive as they ideally should? To which I would say, I would rather they keep as much of the game a secret as possible, if you're asking me personally. For me, if you're asking me what should the point of a specific game Direct be, maybe show you a bit more candid footage, a bit more than like a single trailer could do, maybe explain the mechanics to give an idea of what it should be. I have a feeling that's what a specific game Direct should be, if you're asking me. And I felt like that's what Air Riders did, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know, man. Is it a case of mismatched expectations? They needed 45 minutes because they revealed nothing about the game beforehand. So even if it was most of it was stuff we would have known from the past. Oh, that's also true as well, yeah. In the case of Kirby Air Riders, they literally showed us nothing. So this is our first time getting any insights. Probably why it was a bit longer. In all fairness, there was a single pre-render cutscene for the Air Riders before this. Oh yeah, literally, yeah. So I think that's probably why it was as long as Mario Kart wasn't. We saw quite a bit of gameplay, you know?
It felt like I was watching like a parody of a Direct. You know what I mean? Where like I like Masahiro Sakurai. He seems like a charming fellow, and like the way he is a charming fellow is what I mean. Like like in this video, it is cute, like the way he's like talking about stuff. When he talks about like the first game, we had one button, and he's like, we've had to add a second button, unfortunately, which is funny. Like like that's a joke. That's funny.
Okay, I think in the middle he's like, so you're wondering why this is different from Mario Kart, and he goes, okay, it's Mario Kart.
But also, in the same breath, he is explaining how to turn left and turn right.
Yeah, and I thought that was very, very interesting. Because in Mario Kart, you just kind of hop, you drift, you take a corner, like as inwards as possible. In Air Riders, you literally press the drift button to like kind of stop in place somewhat and then burst forward, which I think is unlike any other racing game I've ever played. So like I literally... Hola, ¿quieres más? It's me, Moresty. I'm the guy that the turning... Did he forget normal gamers exist? If you're asking me right now, I felt like the way you turn and drift in that game is unique enough where who doesn't quite know how it works was worth explaining it to. And I think it was one of those things I'm going to go, oh, that's quite interesting. Sure, I guess. Does he? Is this another case of this guy is surrounded by hardcore gamers so he forgets casuals exist? And even though I would say, I don't know if I wouldn't describe myself as casual, but I would say, relatively speaking, I guess I am. And Nintendo YouTubers forgetting about normal gamers. Typical, huh? Typical.
By moving the analog stick to the left and to the right.
And again, I want to emphasize that we are being taught how to play a game that we will not be able to play for 3 months.
Yeah, and it's a game that like is the most easily intuitable, understandable thing in the whole world.
Which is part of the premise of what the game is and why it originally had one button.
Yes. Yeah, but then also, you're talking about a sequel to a game that existed 20 years ago. Most people probably don't know how it works. Like, is this going to be like a we forgot casual gamers exist masterclass? Fucking, what are we doing here? Lads, what are we doing here, mate? Fucking hell. It's like, why did the Wii have motion controls? Who fucking likes these motion controls? My mum off to the side. Oh, I love these motion controls. Fucking hell. This is crazy. But anyway, that's the initial timestamp. So we fast forward to 5:28, where we get the timestamp that is titled "All Style, No Substance."
So Sakurai has this reputation for being this like very granular kind of guy.
Yeah,
In
I would say so.
showcases, he has done these extended looks at Super Smash Brothers like DLC characters that he's designed. And I think in a fighting game, there is a lot of inherent nuance. There is a lot of like artistry, we could even say, and design sensibilities that go into what is this character's moveset? How do you use them? What are the tools available to them? There are these kind of intricacies that are worth being granular about because fighting games are granular. And there is a structure meeting a style there. The fighting game being the structure and Sakurai being the style. There's something there that I think works. And since those Smash Brothers presentations, Sakurai had his own YouTube channel where he would, if you asked people, he would talk about game design. I would push back on that a little bit, but again, has this reputation for kind of like diving deep into something and kind of exploring his like the delicate choices he makes when playing a game. So now we arrive at Kirby Air Ride, and now we are applying this style, Sakurai, now to a different structure. The structure being not a fighting game, but to a racing game. A racing game, which we, again, have already articulated, has a degree of simplicity baked into it. An underlying idea of simplicity. And I think watching Sakurai's style be applied to this thing, all style, no substance.
This is literally just one of the most tone deaf. He's doing the. So is he just doing? It's like watching a man be racist to video game casuals in real time, in slow motion. And it also doesn't help that it seems very clear that you seem to have this like thorn in your side about Masahiro Sakurai. I think that's probably like the worst bit of this. As I said, I kind of get how you'd feel about the internet kind of going, oh, Daddy Sakurai, Daddy Sakurai. I kind of get that. But it really seems like this is like your 9/11. It genuinely feels like that's the case. And I'm just like, I don't mean to sound like every millennial woman on TikTok ever, but who hurt you? That's something that comes across to me. Because I'm just like, you're asking me, someone who is a relative, who knew barely anything about Kirby Air Riders. I thought that was a very good presentation. Did you maybe talk to other people other than your dumbass co-host here to get like a wider palette as to what people thought about it? Maybe I don't know what to tell you, broski. This is a bit of a stinker, but we'll continue with this timestamp. And also, it doesn't help that you're talking about like Nintendo, the most bing wahooiest wahoo let's go company of all time. How did you forget about the casual gamer base when you're a Nintendo fan? How did you forget this? It's like baked into the culture. They famously target casual gamers. What's happened here, gamers?
That's all I get from this. I feel the same way about this presentation about Kirby Air Ride that I do about his YouTube channel videos. I find them to be fleetingly interesting. I think that every so often you get kind of like oh, that's neat. But everything you could learn from Sakurai's YouTube channel, you could learn if you were a critical thinker. If you were somebody who would look at Smash Brothers and break it down.
Okay, then maybe it's not for you then. Like, yeah, admittedly, I'm someone who was hoping that Masahiro Sakurai's YouTube channel would get into a bit more analytical nous, but evidently it wasn't. It was a bit more surface level. It was a bit more, like, just kind of a bit more chill, a bit more fun. And I kind of went in assuming, like, this is just like, yeah, you're just upset that Sakurai didn't tell you all of his video game secrets, so you can make a dog shit Heartbound 2, right? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Like, what are we doing here, gamers? What are we doing here? This is he's having a stinker in real time. I think he just doesn't like the original Air Riders and wants this to be something else entirely. I could 100% understand seeing someone say, I've been waiting 20 years for an Air Riders sequel, and this just feels like Air Ride HD. I saw someone say that, and I'm like, I could kind of see that. This doesn't seem like this. Seems like he has a thorn in his side about Sakurai. And about, like, Sakurai hurt him. Sakurai beat this man in Smash. I mean, Toby Fox beat him in Smash, and he got Sans in the game. If this guy beat Sakurai in Smash, you would have got, like, Rayman in the game, but he didn't beat him, unfortunately. What a shame. What a shame that you didn't get to beat Sakurai in Smash. Unfortunate. happens to the best. He's a good gamer.
What is in front of you?
He's good. He's good at the game.
Single conclusion that Sakurai spells out for you in his presentations and otherwise, because that is the impact of his work. That is the impact of a good, strong artist. He is intuitively making these things clear to you. And I swear to God, Peter, these showcases from Sakurai are feeling less like a behind-the-scenes look at something interesting, less like something that is actually meant to provide insight, and more for TED Talks for people who have never thought critically about anything in their lives.
Firstly, holy pretentious Batman. Holy shit. Secondly, even if that was the case, what's wrong with that? What the hell is this man talking about? What? Holy God damn, this man is insane. He's insane. He's angry about Japanese man he's never met. How are you this animated about Sakurai, broski? What's happening right now? I don't understand. He's literally like, my brain is so big, Sakurai, you can't stimulate it anymore. Holy shit, broski. Touch grass. Fucking hell, man. This is insane. This is actually, we're witnessing insanity. God damn, broski. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm lost for words. I'm genuinely lost for words. It's literally just as simple as, I needed to know what Air Riders was like because I'm not familiar with Air Riders or Air Ride, and I got a presentation that gave me that. Fucking hell, ref.
To me, I would.
Peter, you have to save this guy. I don't know if this one's. I think this one's Peter. You have to save him. This guy's having a stinker, bruv.
What you're saying, I would push on that a little bit.
You got to push on that a lot. Okay, this guy is having the stinker of a century right now. You have to help your boy. You have to help him.
And maybe just, not push. Maybe just like. I would.
And he's gesturing. He's gesturing like he owned the chuds. Hold it, brother. You have to save him. Otherwise, this is cooked. Delete the fucking video, broski. Delete it. You have to delete it now, man.
Deflect it a little bit, and I would say, like, to me, it's less about that and more about just like, we know you want to hear from Sakurai. So here's a video of the guy talking about his new game. You know, and.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I would say that was the case, and I would say I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, man. This is incredible. Bro's head's too big. As I'm not going to make any comments in regards to that, but crazy. Exactly. The Wii's motion controls have literally changed my life and made games accessible for so many people, and that's only a good thing. No, he hates you, Rico Lee. I need to understand that, Rico Lee. This man right here hates you. This guy right here, he hates you. Okay. Look at him. He hates casual gamers that need accessibility, and brother needs accessibility to fuck it for his eyesight. How does that work, gamers? How does that work? I'm just saying, it just seems a bit hypocritical. You know what I mean? It just seems a bit hypocritical. Maybe there's some people that need that little bit of, critical nous in their presentations, and if you need that, then maybe you should get it from somewhere else. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know what to tell you. So we go to the next timestamp, which is 9:48.
The most complex thing about Kirby Air Ride is this kind of city trial mode. And
yes, that's the thing that is actually the most interesting to me.
Oh, yeah. I saw that city trial mode. I didn't know So, one of the most surprising things about watching Kirby Air Riders was, like, literally everyone in my chat was like, okay, Moresty, here's the real reason you're here. I'm like, wait, is it not a racing game? And then now I found out, no, it's not a racing game. You're here for city trial. And I was like, am I? And then I watched them like, okay, I'm here for city trial. The city trial part was easily the part that sold me on this game. Because I was like, yeah, it's a fun racing game, but like, what's like the edge? What's like the sell? You know? Mario Kart has its movement. Sonic has its like funny interactions. What does Air Riders have? And I'm just like, you know what? Fucking city trial, broski. Fucking city trial, you know what I mean?
And do you feel that the city trial mode is like easier or harder to understand in 2025 than it was in 2003? Because I would argue, Peter, we've kind of seen the city trial mode now in not just Sakurai's own games, in Kid Icarus and Smash Brothers for the 3DS with the Smash Run mode, but we've kind of seen other...
we've seen City Trial in a 20-year-old Kirby Air Ride game that most people living now probably haven't played. We played it in a Smash game on a console that famously flopped. And granted, a 3DS darling, but again, on a console that's like years old at this point. Gamers, are you telling me you didn't play Kid Icarus Uprising and play the mode? Guys, are you telling me you didn't play Smash Run on Smash for Wii U? Wow, look at you, loser. Why do you need City Trial to explain to you? You should have done that homework 10 years ago. That's what he's going to say. I'm predicting that's literally what he's going to say, right?
Online games have elements of this game so that when you see it in 2025, I don't think it's that hard to understand.
City Trial.
I'm glad it was explained to me, though. I'm glad that it was explained to me in a simple way that I could understand. Like, you go around collecting stuff, events happen, sometimes they're random, sometimes they're like game modes you play, and at the very end you do like one final challenge from the looks of it. It's very like, the reason I can explain it that simply is because Sakurai explained it very well. And it was great. And I'm glad I know more about City Trial now.
Trial was the first battle royale. Wonderful video.
Do you think anyone who's played Fortnite has played City Trial?
Smash Run was only on the 3Ds, not on the Wii U.
That's even worse then. It was on the version of Smash no one gave a shit about. Crazy work, brother. I'll be real with you. Crazy work, lads.
By one Mr. Christian Macias, friend of the pod, about how Nintendo made the first battle royale and it was the City Trial mode. Yeah, I agree. It's not something that I think needs like extreme explanation.
I'm glad it was explained, right?
And the only, like, as someone who's familiar with the first game, the explanation just like told me like, oh, you guys didn't change this at all. Really? I mean, there's some like superficial changes.
Okay, but like, did you think about the people that have never played the original? Again, like, do you think these people aren't aware of like the average gamer's age? Like the average guys, you guys are unks. I don't know how old you are, but like, just from the looks of you guys are like in your 20s at least. You know, I'd say mid 20s, maybe late 20s for this fella. Like, you guys are unks, bro. Like most gamers watching the Switch presentation now probably didn't play the original Air Riders. They probably need an explanation. Like, I was old enough to remember when it was out. I just didn't buy it because it wasn't Bing Bing Who, unfortunately. I didn't have much games. What are we doing here?
So like, don't at me, right? Like, I do understand that things have been changed. It is a new video game technically, but like,
yeah,
now no longer necessitating that you physically jump off your what do they call them? Machines? Was that the word it's calling them?
Okay.
Now that you don't have to actually jump off your machine in order to get on a new one, now you can just bump into it.
Yeah, I thought it was
like,
nice.
Okay, that's not a real innovation, guys. Like,
I mean, it's just a nice bit of quality of life that I would go to appreciate. This guy seems a bit more switched on than the other guy. Like, the other guy's cooked. This guy is over for this guy. This guy ain't coming back. He's finished. He has a Sakurai-shaped thorn in his side, a Sakurai-shaped chip on his shoulder. He's cooked. We just need this guy. We just need this guy to like save us. This guy needs to save us from the dark. All right, that's all we got, games. That's literally all we got. Next timestamp is it's actually right now. Oh, it's right now. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's a small quality of life change, but to me, I look at Kirby Air Riders and I'm like, this feels like it started as a remaster.
Whoa. Okay.
And there are some and there are fundamental differences in that, like,
I mean, does a sequel not exist anymore? I always found this concept really weird, chat. That there seems to be like a good chunk of people that don't know what a sequel is anymore. I don't know if this guy is based off that one statement, it seems to be true. Yeah, a sequel takes the original, remixes it, and kind of gives it to you. Like, is that not what Super Mario 1 to 2 was, or the JP variants? Is that not what like the new, like, you can maybe argue that they should, like, a sequel should have a bit more innovation than it does, but like that's what sequels are. Like, are we supposed to need to reinvent everything else, or is this 0 out of 10? Yeah, I don't think people know I genuinely think people don't know what a sequel is anymore. Like, people looked at Tears of the Kingdom, genuinely, and I'm sure you guys saw it. I'm trying not to people online too hard here, but I saw a good chunk of people that genuinely Tears of the Kingdom is not a sequel. It's Breath of the Wild, like, it's Breath of the Wild again, and I'm just like, no, it's a sequel. They took the original, remixed it, gave it more mechanics, and then like, oh, like it was DLC. That's what it was. Oh, it was Breath of the. That's what it was. It was. This looks like DLC. Like, no, it's a sequel. Like, are we that cooked? Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that guy. I saw a TikTok video, a Twitter video chat, where some guy decided to play Helldivers 2 because they did a collab with Halo. Now, how it works in Helldivers 2 is that when you buy like a battle pass, basically, you have to like progress it. Like you buy the right to progress through the battle pass, right? Which is like how most battle passes work, right? You buy for the premium battle pass and you play to progress through it. This guy was genuinely upset that like he paid for the pass and he didn't get all the stuff immediately. I'm just like, are we that cooked now that we don't understand that like, oh, like you have to play the game to earn what you want now? Like, are we that cooked? We don't understand what a sequel is? Like, how is this comparable to a remodel? It seems like they've done enough, at least from what I've seen. I'm so confused. I'm genuinely so confused when people say this. But I'll let him finish his thought.
You could play as King DDD, you could play as Meta Knight in the original game, but as they point out, like they had set sort of like carts that they rode on. Like Meta Knight flew and King DDD rode on like one of like the ice cream truck thing. And now it's not the case, and now there's a handful of other
like what game completely expands the roster and is called a remaster? You know what I mean? Like, are we calling Smash Brawl to like Smash 4 like DLC for Smash? Just because they added more characters? Like, the fact that this game added characters and changed some mechanics and added some new stuff should be enough to call it a sequel, is it not? Are we just cooked? Do we not know what a sequel is anymore? Is everything Fortnite?
Characters that are in it. But, like, to me, that is like, okay, that's a big enough change that you can't just put this in a remaster. But, I don't know. It feels like with the city trial thing, I was like, oh, this is like fully the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I loved King DDD as much as the next guy, so
of course,
I can't wait. That's my main. And does this game have the opportunity to, in future showcases, reveal more? Is there a story mode in this game? Is there like that kind of?
Seems like they were teasing it.
I think so, and I think all of that is fine and good, and the game is going to be what the game is. And I don't really have a problem with the game. I anticipate that the game will be fun.
Certainly.
I think I'm more surprised that the game has this kind of like highly sought after November slot, and that it is a $70 title from Nintendo.
Yes.
I think.
Why are either of those things shocking to you? It's $70 because that's the going price now. For better or for worse, that's the going price now. And I think I literally mentioned this last time. I talked about this a lot, which was I don't like this whole the holiday slot, guys. Why is it in the I just don't get it. I think this is one of those things where I have to just I think it's just an underhanded way of saying it's shit and doesn't deserve to be the December slot. Because I think I said this last time when Switch Force brought it up. I don't understand you people. I didn't celebrate Christmas. Okay, I get games when I want games. I don't care about the November slot. I'll be real with you. But I think he's just there's a backhanded sort of like remark saying it doesn't deserve the holiday slot because it's not enough. Very, very, very classy. Very classy for a man who's done nothing of substance compared to Sakurai. Yeah, interesting how that works. Next timestamp is we got 12:55, and we got 12:57, which is right here.
That's more surprising to me, but I think the thing that I want to focus on the most is that the response to this direct is
gamers, raise your hands up in the air. Or we are about to go. The people online zone. Are you ready, chat? What did the people on the clothing line say? What did people on the phone line say?
To feed this idea that anything Sakurai does or says...
It's literally a people online chat. I was just saying it to be exaggerated. It's literally a people online. People like Sakurai too much, therefore. That's I literally said this, chat, at the beginning of this video. That I have definitely noticed a bit of Daddy Sakurai. But you know what I do when I see those people? I just move on with my life. This guy's literally pressed because people love Sakurai. Which, again, if you ask me, is it a bit much sometimes? Yes. But this is a guy who made some of the best games that have ever graced our Earth. I think he deserves a little gluck gluck. That's what I'll say. You know what I mean?
Trying to feed this idea that anything Sakurai does or says is immediately kind of injected with artistic integrity. Is we assume that because he is this lofted, this great director, that every single one of his projects has the same amount of intentional design and, again, integrity as the last. And
okay, well, if you can prove otherwise, by all means. But right now, it just sounds like you're a jealous-ass little bitch. That's literally what it sounds like to me. Like, I'll be real with you. That's all this... There is no reality in which this doesn't come across as like you being a jealous-ass little bitch. Because if what you're saying is Sakurai is an overrated flop, prove it to me. As far as I'm concerned, Sakurai hasn't missed. Sakurai is just like he just gets shit done. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't missed as far as I'm concerned. If he's a hack fraud, like if he's modern day Jose Mourinho, I want to see that video. I'll happily watch that video. Is Sakurai an overrated flop? I would watch that video. He has a proven track record, and you're just hating him because he has a proven track record. Broski, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I find that is holding people back from criticizing the thing that's actually in front of them. Because Peter,
Okay, who cares if people do that? What you ideally should do is show people that they're wrong. Say there was like a generally accepted take on a thing, and I'm just like, hang on, I don't agree with that. It would behoove me to throw my hat in the ring and go, guys, I don't think this is like what you say is. I'll be real with you. Like, if we're doing it on a smaller scale, that's literally what I do with Cooper Trooper Beach, is it not? The general consensus from what I've seen of Cooper Trooper Beach is that it's one of the worst tracks in 8 Deluxe, in Mario Kart World. To which I'm like, guys, it's a circle, it's fun, chaos. Are we not laughing here? Is this not what Mario Kart World is all about, man? Got hazards, got a feather shortcut, got that charm, 5 laps. You know? Like, ideally, what you should do is, he's a fraud because XYZ ABC, but you're not going to do it. You're just jealous. He's a great game dev and also funny, so the hype is fair. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if the hype was unfair, I'd be like, I'd understand, but he's not wrong. I'm open to it, broski. Show me he's wrong.
Saw
you're just jealous
yesterday about how
it's just mad gamers. Oh, boo-hoo, nigga. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. There was 1 million people clucking him, but where's my cluck, huh? Literally. Boo-hoo. Cry harder, man. Oh my god!
In front of them, because Peter, I saw 1 million posts yesterday about how insightful Sakurai is and how cool it is that he's one of these rare people that really dives into game design.
Or the counterpoint, if we're using a bit of emotional intelligence, you absolute cretin, maybe it's genuinely really refreshing. Let's say I take you at face value, chat. Let's say we all admit together Sakurai is not as good as he say he is. Do you know what's really good about Sakurai? And everyone in the chat is going to say, yeah, Misty, I kind of agree. It's just really nice and refreshing to have a down-to-earth man who's just really passionate about video games, who has designed games on the highest level. How often do we genuinely get that, chat? Where it's a genuinely humble guy who's made some of the best games ever made, and he's just like, oh, hey guys, here's a video of my cat, Fukurashi. Isn't she cute? There's just something really novel about that. That even if I agree with you, and I say, yeah, do you know what, he's not as insightful as he could be, think about it for 2 seconds, you absolute moron. People just like the authenticity. People like just that he's a real guy. He puts on his pants one leg at a time like the rest of us. Whereas a lot of the time you see these corporate suits in their big buildings, faceless devs, you get your fucking Randy Pitchford. In a world full of Randy Pitchfords, seeing a Masahiro Sakurai that's literally just, I invited Toby to my house and we played Smash and I lost, so I put Sans in the game. There's just something really refreshing about that. And I think that contributes to why people like him. That's why I like him so much. Yeah, I agree. I do wish his YouTube channel maybe went into a bit more nous than it could have. But yeah, I just like that he's just a guy, bro. He's just some guy. He's like one of the most sought after devs on planet Earth. And he's just a guy. How heartwarming is that, man? But instead you're just mad. You're mad you get no Gluck. You get no Gluck. You get no Gluck, bro. Fuck.
It is that he's one of these rare people that really dives into game design. But I have not seen anybody tell me what was actually insightful about that presentation. What is the thing that he told you that you're like, oh, that was I can't believe he opened the curtain on that. Where are those pieces?
The lesson? Yes.
Or maybe other people. So for example, let's say you're like a level 8 out of 10 gamer brain. Let's say there's some people that are like at 1s and 2s and Sakurai gave him a lesson in 4s. That'd be genuinely insightful. Bruv, I don't know how to play the piano. If you taught me like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, as far as I'm concerned, you're a fucking genius. Does that make sense? Like, essentially, he's just like, my brain is so big. Why doesn't he cater to my big brain that's big and that's massive? It's just no joy, no whimsy. The final boss. Holy shit.
So what's the lesson to have been learned from any of this? Agreed.
And every reaction is just talking about how great he is, but nobody can tell me what it was that he showed that was so...
Show me. Show me the people on the line you're talking about. Show me that name and shit. I don't believe you. Who are these people saying this? First, I don't believe you. You're just lying. You're just lying. And second, even if you show me the people, what if they is it so surprising that somebody else found it insightful and you didn't? Is that so surprising? Like, what's going on here? Like, are we actually like brain dead? Is this real lobotomy hours? Like, are we in Bizarro realm right now? Fuck it. Like, I could imagine a reality where like a Pokemon fan comes up to me and goes, "Hang on, Musty, did you know that when you use Trick Room and you use Trick Room again, it resets the Trick Room?" Like, yeah, I know that. But like, am I going to go up to the person and be like, "Yeah, I know that. Can you tell me something I don't know?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's true. That's pretty. I actually didn't know that interaction. I actually didn't know that, to be honest. I think I accidentally clicked Trick Room twice and it reset. That's how I found out. Yeah, I'm glad you figured that out." That's what I'm saying because I'm not a joyless cunt. I don't even know what to tell this guy.
Awesome to behold.
And it's this thing like, and I think we're on the same page here. Where I'm like,
yeah,
he is a great director.
Yeah,
yes.
He is a great game maker who has insights. And I think what you said about his like YouTube channel makes a lot of sense. Where it's like a testament to the design of those games is that you can look at them and go, "I see everything that's happening here." If you really analyze them, and that's a testament to being well designed, right?
Yes, 100%.
Because in a game like that, you have to visually be able to read what's happening and understand it.
There is no piece of art where there should be required reading to understanding it.
Right.
So why do we pretend that like this required reading from Sakurai is somehow enhancing our perspective on Kirby Air Ride when
or as I said, maybe it's just really nice to see the guy who made the game talk about the game. Is that like is that such an unbelievable concept to this man? Some of my favorite additions to video games, whenever they like make collector's editions or like director's cut, some of my favorite bits of content, chat, are commentary tracks. Like listening to the devs talk about the game. One of my favorite playthroughs I've ever did of a video game was Deus Ex Human Revolution. I played the director's cut where like you could just listen to the developer commentary. And it was genuinely interesting seeing them talk about the game and like the process they had to go for. Something as small as like a box was like big physics that like took them 7 hours to program. And I'm just like, that's crazy. I just threw that box away in 2 seconds. And you're telling me it took 7 hours to, whoa, that's crazy. So like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're gonna genuinely say in deadass tales that written tutorials are useless? Bro, this guy's got something going on. This guy's got something going on, but I don't know what to tell you. And
I feel it's clearly not.
Yeah, it is this thing where...
All right, well, that's enough of that timestamp, chat. So we're going to jump ahead a little bit to 16:59 and see, does it get any better, chat? Spoiler alert, it gets worse.
Yes. I made this joke on Blue Sky where I was like, oh yeah,
Oh, he's on Blue... Guys, no wonder. He's on fucking Blue Sky. Oh, no. That's like Tumblr 2.0. But that explains it all, doesn't it? Oh, no. Oh, I made a blog post on my Blue Sky. I made a post on my Substack. Of course you're on Blue Sky. Fuck my life, man. Guys, I was on Mastodon the other day.
Sakurai, he's such a deep and groundbreaking communicator because he tells us about all the subtle intricacies of all the creative decisions he makes and then copies and pastes Super Smash Brothers. Because because so much of the iconography, the UI design, a lot of stuff in the game, like Sakurai's other games, is almost exactly taken from Super Smash Brothers. And in the example I used online, it was the victory screen. And if you've ever played Smash Brothers, like it jumps out at you immediately. And I think
I noticed that too. The victory screen was quite neat. They made like a Kirby Air Riders version of the Smash victory screen. It's his style. It's his like signature. Like, what do we do? You know? Have you never created enough works to know his signature? Like I end all my videos with "There's your lot." Sakurai tends to have like similar UI styles to indicate that's his game. Like, are we cooked? Are we cooked, broski?
Somebody who is a very kind of generous reader here would be like, oh, well, that specific font is designed in a way to elicit the feelings that work in tandem with like fighting games. And this game has a lot of influence from fighting games. So you can see that really it's that they're chasing the same feeling. And I'm like, we have to take a step back. And you're telling me that Sakurai makes all these games that all copy from each other, but they're all chasing the same feeling? Like, tell me why.
Firstly, you just made someone up to get mad at. First, I don't know who you made up. But secondly, it's just a signature, you know? It's like any YouTube channel I have has similar artwork. Because guess what? It was made by my fiance and she has a consistent art style. Guys, what are we doing here, chat? Are we cooked? Gamers, we might be cooked. This might be like the worst video ever made.
The stupid buttons on the menu are shaped in dumb shapes in Super Smash Brothers, and they're the same way in Sakurai's other games. Is it because the menu design is chasing the same feeling? Stop.
No, it's because that's his signature. And let's hypothetically engage with the person that you made up that sees a bit more in the UI than you possibly do. Is there anything wrong with that? If somebody wants to like do like a bit of UI theory as to why Sakurai's UIs are actually like quite in depth and like they offer a bit more like more than just it's just his style, then could we, guys? I'm gonna say it, gamers. I'm gonna say it, guys. Guys, is this what I say? Is this the part where you get so musty? This is the part of the reaction where you get so musty to say, "Let people enjoy." Fucking hell, ref. That's when you know a reaction's cooked. You've got me saying let people enjoy things. If this hypothetical person you just made up wants to analyze Sakurai's UI design and really find an analytical nous in it, you do you, broski. Yeah, go for it. This is actually unbelievable.
Yeah.
Stop injecting all this intention and meaning. It's driving me crazy.
Okay, maybe it does. Okay, whether it does or doesn't, what if somebody gets that idea? You know what I mean? Like, if somebody was to analyze one of my like ranking videos and was to like analyze a lot more like intention than was arguably there, like I would be flattered that somebody would inject a lot more purpose into the work than maybe even I thought. I think it's like a win-win scenario, basically, chat. Either I did inject a lot of thought into the way I do certain things and someone picked up on it, in which case I'm happy that someone picked up on it, or I didn't and someone sees a lot more than is originally intended and they get more of a benefit out of it. It's literally a win-win. Like, what are we doing here? It's literally a I consent, I don't, is there somebody you forgot to ask? That's literally all this is. Good grief, man.
That's the thing. It's like I am on board with saying, like, you know what? Not all, like, using this sort of template or whatever font or sort of like visual identity is going to allow a studio to more efficiently,
thank you.
And sustainably produce video games. Mm-hmm. Awesome. But we also have to recognize that that's what's happening, if that's what is happening.
Okay, yeah, but you see, hang on. I'm glad he corrected himself. If that's what's happening. Maybe that's just his style. Like, yeah, at the end of every video, I could make up a different catchphrase. And until next time, eat my shorts. But no, I just say, there's your lot, because that's just my sign-off phrase. And I start with, like, gamers. Like, am I
right? Like, in the same way, when God of War 20, or the most recent one, Ragnarok, came out, there were people online being like, wow.
People online!
Oh, we're using the same canoe jumping animation where he jumps into the canoe and he pushes the boat. And that is obviously very silly to be mad at, because you understand why they did that.
And it's low impact. It's a low impact decision.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
And the response to that is just, well, if you wanted us to make an entirely new, from the ground up, every single asset in this game, it would never come out and it would cost twice the amount of money. And that's understandable and legit. But then when it comes to this, I think it is a kind of a different thing where it's like, no. If you did that in Smash, if you had like a similar sort of thing in Smash, I'd be like, got it. I understand what it was doing in the first Smash. I see what it's doing in the second Smash. Now it's like, I don't get what it's doing in Kirby Air Ride. Like the visual.
Okay, maybe it's just a bit of. I love the victory screen. I don't know if you guys can tell, based on the fact that I made a video ranking the Smash 64 victory screens, and I got another one going about the Melee victory screens. I like victory screens. I like them, and I like that they have them in Air Riders, even if they are stylistically similar to another game he's made. I mean, that's another game he's made. I like him. I like him, gamers. I like the victory screens.
Different. I think you're supposed to feel different in Kirby Air Ride.
No, you're supposed. What? Hang on. Can I hear that again, please? Can I hear the whole?
The visual language of this is different. I think you're supposed to feel different in Kirby Air Ride. As this presentation was going.
What do you mean you're supposed to feel? In Smash, when I win, I feel good, and I want my character to go like. And then when I win in Air Riders, my character feels good, and I want them to go. It's I won, therefore I want the character and the animation to like make me feel like I'm sourcing. It's the same thing. It's like when I win Sonic Racing Crossworlds and Zaz goes, yeah. Then the other guy's starting to lose the plot. Like, I think, are we losing this guy? Is he lost as well, chat? Have we lost both guys now? Fucking hell, ref. What are we supposed to do? The game's gone. The game's fucking gone,
they did,
gamers.
Like, the Super Smash Bros. Like a new challenger approaches. Yep. Sort of like thing. When it's like
the
Kirby,
siren, even the sound is the exact same sound effect.
Right. And so like for me, when as I was watching this, I thought it was kind of a joke. I thought they were doing something by having Sakurai explain that pushing left makes you go left and right makes you go. I was like, oh, this is a joke. Yep. This is like fully they're making a joke here. And then when they're like, Gooey joins the fight, and it was like, oh, Gooey, classic.
Insane stuff, gamers. But we're going to move on to the next timestamp. What's even the thesis for this video? The thesis is these are two guys who cannot fathom the idea that there is a game dev that is much beloved and they are jealous. Oh, this guy is jealous. Okay, I feel like this guy is trying to do the thing where like your friend is off the rails. Your friend is off the rails, but you don't want to call him out because you don't want to start an argument. So he's kind of trying to like agree, but like offer a little bit. That's what's happening right now. I've been in the same situation before where like you kind of want to like placate them a little bit, but you also want to offer like some sort of counterpoint. This literally reminds me of a time where I was doing a security shift outside a hospital, and I was having a lovely conversation with this woman, and she immediately throws out of nowhere, chat. We were literally talking for 20 minutes. Lovely, lovely woman. She had the most fascinating life. She throws in a vaccines cause autism. And we had such a pleasant conversation that was flowing for 20 minutes. And I had to like do what this guy is doing, basically. Where like I was just kind of like, yeah, but at the same time, but I gotta. It was one of the most awkward things I've had to do. But at the same time, I'm not going to start a fight with an old woman about an opinion that she's probably going to carry with her to her grave. I'm not so egotistical that I think that I can change her mind. But at the same time, I didn't want to just stand here and let her throw that out there. Does that make sense? That's the vibe I'm getting. He's throwing in a vaccines cause autism, and he's just like, well, maybe they cause HIV instead. That's what's happening here. And it's quite fascinating to watch as we go to the next timestamp, which is 21:44.
It's funny because I think
crazy because you were at a hospital. You would think that would stop people, but I've heard people say some crazy things.
When there is pushback on this in this conversation as to like, well, no, I'm going to explain to you why the UI is this way. The response that you're going to find is this kind of archaeological response. It is this idea about like Sakurai works with his wife and his wife does the UI.
Real and true.
This idea about like Sakurai works with his wife and his wife does the UI and that's why this looks a certain way. But do people does this just like fall on deaf ears when I bring this up? I am not interested in excavating media that way. Like,
okay, then don't what am I? Where am I? This is a generational performance. Chat, I want you to know we are watching a generational performance, right? Actually, insanity. I actually kind of feel bad for this guy. Imagine making a podcast, chat. How long has this been going on for? How long has this been going on for? So not like you still have time. The guy on the right, you still have time, broski. You still have time. For the love of all that is holy, you still have time. Okay, it's not been going on that long. For the love of God, broski, I'll be your co-host. Okay, save him. I will do a weekly podcast. All right, I can commit to a 5-month season. Okay, and then we might have to we'll renew the contract for a second. Broski, I can fix him. Chat, I can fix guy on the right. Guy on the left is cooked. He's finished. He's finished. He's never coming back again. But like, you end up like building up this channel from the ground up. You know, you build up a small but loyal subscriber base, and it turns out this guy is like just sad that no one read his dog shit webcomic from like when he was 18 or some shit. I don't know. Honestly, this is diabolical. And do you know what? Imagine, chat. Imagine for a second, gamers, right? Do you know how like I love Deltarune, for example? But like, I wouldn't say that I interact with any of like the fan stuff. I don't really watch any fan theories. I don't really like do any character breakdowns. I just kind of like play the games. I enjoy them. I make my own interpretations. I talk about them in the chat, and I just kind of move on with my day, right? Because that's how I like to engage with Deltarune. Imagine just me going up to all these fucking people dissecting like the genocide route and fucking Noel and fucking Susie and fucking Bert. I don't consume media like that. And I'm just like, my algorithm is full of, at the moment, people playing old Call of Duty games, finding hackers and then hacking into their account and getting them banned. That's what my algorithm is about right now. And I'm having a lot of fun watching people figure out there's a white hat hacker and then hacking them. That's really funny content right now, and I'm enjoying that.
I am not looking for an answer to my media. I'm looking for the interpretation of like, I'm playing this game and I feel a certain way when I see these choices. And why is you're telling me you're going to respond to my interpretation of a piece of media with a factoid about how it was created? Like,
okay, then hang on.
What is this?
Okay, then you should ideally realize that you're talking to someone where you're not going to get a fulfilling conversation and eject yourself. That's what you should do. Because yeah, that does sound pretty dumb. If I'm talking about how I feel about like Koopa Beach, for example, and someone goes, "Oh, Moresty, this track is actually from Super Mario Kart," I'm like, "Okay, dipshit." Like, I'm just gonna, this is probably the one timestamp where I'm like, I kind of agree with them a little bit, because yeah, that kind of person's annoying, but you just kind of just go, and you just move on. This is like probably the only instance where I'm like, I kind of agree with you, but. It's he's 1 for what? 1 for 5 right now, chat.
I find that there is something particularly fraught about Kirby Air Ride, a game that was not well received critically, that has over time kind of
being a cult classic,
doubled over on itself to create this.
Let me guess. Now the timestamp does kind of spoil it, but my guess would have literally been he's just upset that people like this game. Therefore, the timestamp is literally labeled Air Ride's Cult of Nostalgia. But like, this literally sounds like he's building up to people just love people just like people get in a circle and go, Daddy Sakurai, and I'm just like, yeah, some people are like that. It's a bit weird. It's moderately weird actually, but I just kind of go, but
cult of nostalgia around it from people who maybe did play it, maybe didn't play it, maybe didn't have a critical opinion of it at the time. But there is something that is I think a lot of people want to cosplay online as somebody who saw the vision first, as somebody who always understood and respected Kirby Air Ride. And now here it is, getting a 45-minute deep dive by Masahiro Sakurai. It was always smart.
Is he literally calling him? He's calling them tourists, isn't he? He's literally got he's calling them tourists, chat. These fucking video game tourists. Okay, now don't get me wrong. I am sad to say, gamers, I do kind of agree with them here. I think the kind of gamer that's like, I always knew there was going to be an Air Riders. I'm like, show me a tweet. Show me a tweet or I don't believe you. Like, if you're someone who was in the trenches on 3D World Discourse when people thought that game was shit, and then now it's great, everyone's like, oh, it's great. If you can prove that like you were there, fair. Yeah, I would say the kinds of person who goes, I always thought that 3D World was good. I don't understand. I've been saying this for years and no one believed him. Like, okay, show me a screenshot. I've heard some people say, show me a screenshot, I don't believe you. Pixar didn't happen. I want to see a tweet from like 2014 where you were defending this game. And I'll be like, fair dues. But yeah, this kind of person is a bit annoying. But do you know what I do, Chad? Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do? Do it with me, Chad. Do it with me. You go. And yeah, one more time. And you move on. You move on with your day, broski.
And deep and intricate. And I knew it. And that is, I think that these presentations are feeding that person.
Yes, we were going to circle back to that because I think that's a really good point, and I think maybe it was you who tweeted something about it. But
guys, he tweeted on his blue sky.
I'm on the Kirby Air Ride review from IGN.com.
Oh my God! Please tell me. I'm dying to hear this. Yeah.
Which first posted October 13th, 2003.
Oh,
last
beautiful.
Updated.
Yeah.
June 3rd, 2023. What do they update? What do they put in this? What was added to it? It doesn't matter.
Can you? Does it say like update?
No, it doesn't.
It says it takes them a bit to get to the overall point, which is over here.
Review. I just want to read you the subhead of it because I actually think it's quite insightful and it hits what we're talking about. This is the subhead of this review, by the way.
Yeah.
This is back in a time when they broke things down into like music, gameplay, graphics. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
This is insightful. It says Kirby Air Ride review. Simple, sure. Intuitive, no. And so, like, that's the thing is, like, it's simple. Yeah, one button. But, like, does this, and this is from, they gave it a 5.2 out of 10.
Awesome.
Okay, but now, granted, it is IGN. Granted. But if the person that is paid to make a game review said that the gameplay was maybe a bit unintuitive, despite the fact that it is one button, doesn't that make it more important for Sakurai to explain? That would be my argument, but let's hear what Guy on the right has to say.
And this is sort of what you're talking about, though, about this idea of this is a game that has a simple premise to it, but
well, maybe. Let's say, for example, one bit of critique I get quite frequently over the, I would say, year and a half I've been doing this, is that I'm too mean. I'm too mean, Moresty. You're mean. Whenever I get that critique in like a increased amount of volume from usual, I always watch back the video and like self-critique. I think it's fair to assume that Sakurai, maybe he saw reviews like that. Maybe there was like another review from GameSpot. Maybe there were like enough reviews out there where he saw like the fact that there was only one button, but the controls were a bit unintuitive. Should I maybe explain that a bit more if I was to ever do a sequel? Maybe he like kept that in his head. And if you're wondering, like, for example, with me, to beat like the mean allegation, so to speak, that's why I do a closing thoughts segment, if you guys are curious. At the end of every reaction, I always do a closing thought so I can wrap up what I liked and what I didn't like. So that way we don't end on a sour note if it turns out it was a video that left me wanting. I at least can commentate on the good parts. So that is one thing I've done to kind of counter the mean allegation, so to speak. Is it fair to assume that someone like Sakurai, someone who probably is like a bit more on the pulse with like critique, maybe I could have seen like stuff like that and maybe adjusted course? It's possible. Maybe I'm inferring a bit too much, but it's possible, you know?
Does that mean it's good? Is it good because it just is this thing that you like and you remember? And I'll be curious to see how reviews for this happen because a bunch of people grew up playing this game and loved it and then now are returning to it and get to play it basically again.
Okay, and there are two things happening here that I think are really interesting. One,
let me okay. I was interested. I'll keep this one.
I think if you give a negative review to this game, it is accidentally going to signal to a bunch of hardcore players that you don't get it.
Yes.
And I think it will incentivize people to give it better reviews because they want to be seen as somebody who sees Sakurai is such a big deal that if you don't like one of his games, it's a you problem.
Okay, if you're going to someone whose analytical nous is Sakurai, therefore, why would you ever take their opinion seriously? That's what I would tell you. Under what circumstances would you ever take any dipshit who even dares call themselves a reviewer that it's a Sakurai game, therefore, as opinion seriously? In fact, that's on you. Hey, listen, it bounces off them and sticks on you, broski. That's your fault. That's your fault. You as the consumers should seek out people whose analytical chops are ones that you trust. If I'm going up to someone who says Sakurai, therefore, I'm okay, thank you. I'm going to go to someone who's a bit more like real. Like you can trust that when I play Kirby Air Riders and I give you my first impressions or review, if I end up doing like a formal review, that obviously there's always going to be a bit of Sakurai bias. I'm never going to say that I have a zero bias, but yeah, I'm going to evaluate it for the game that it is. I never played the original, so I don't have any nostalgia. I'm going to give you my review as I as you've seen me review things. And if you trust my word, you trust my word. If you don't, then that's entirely fair. So I don't know what. Again, if I saw a review who was by Sakurai Glazer 62, I'm obviously not going to trust the review from Sakurai Glazer 62. I don't know what to tell you, broski. I don't know what to tell you. That's just on you.
That's where we're at. And then
that's where you're at. Don't say we. I don't speak French. That's where you're at. I don't seek out the reviews of people who are willing to give the dev a pass because they're a good dev. I'm not doing that. That's you. That's your fault. I'm sorry, that's on you, broski. Who's we? We is the console, bro. All I know is that I am not seeking out any review from a Daddy Sakurai enthusiast. That's all I'm saying, man.
Yeah. We've gotten there with a few different directors, like game directors, like Kojima, same way, right?
Yes,
like,
yeah, right,
because people say, well, Kojima games are
well, really... yeah, that's actually a very good example. See, this is why this guy can be saved, chat. Yeah, Kojima is an excellent example. I would say, as someone who's never played a Kojima game, I have definitely seen I would say a bit of a cult of Kojima. But if I'm going to seek out a review of Death Stranding 2 as to whether I should try a Kojima game, I'm not going to go to Kojima Fan 62. Does that make sense? I'm going to seek out a review from someone who ideally would let me know right off the rip that, they don't really play these sorts of games that much, they're not really that big on Kojima, or if they even say that they're big on Kojima, at least they let me know up front so I can take their biases into account, right? Does that make sense? So I don't. Yeah, it's up to the reviewer to let their biases known up front, and it's up to you, the consumer, to be able to take those biases and either account for them in their review, or either seek someone who is less biased and would probably be a bit more authentic. It's the reviewer consumer dynamic that you have to play, and you have to balance it. I don't know what to tell you, man. When has somebody given a game a pass for being developed by Sakurai? Brawl and Smash 4 got a lot of fact it's by being developed by him. Yeah, I don't know. They're just making stuff up now. They have so little to go after Sakurai. They're just making stuff up now. Honestly, it's a bit draining to see so much bias for Kojima. I wouldn't say so, to be honest, because I don't really go out seeking Daddy Kojimas, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Kojima's like a very good example. I just, I wouldn't seek out reviews from them. Anyway.
Be smart, actually.
Right.
They're actually really smart. And they masquerade as being stupid, but they're actually really smart. And now, I understand that argument to a certain perspective. That's not what we're talking about. But that is the argument where it's like, a lot of people feel like they have to say, well, Death Stranding isn't for me. I understand that people really like it, but it's not for me, because people feel afraid. It feels like to say, I don't like this thing that a lot of people...
Is it being afraid, or is it being honest? Bearing in mind, chat, you're talking to me. I am a big proponent of say it with your chest. There is a difference between this game is bad, you shouldn't play this game, or this game's good, it's just not for me. Shadow the Hedgehog 2005 is a shit video game and you shouldn't play it. Elden Ring? Not for me. There's a big difference between the two. One is a game that I thought was terrible, and on an objective level is terrible. One is a game that I didn't enjoy, but I can admit to its objective merits. If somebody said to me it's not for me, I'd be like, okay, fair. That means the game is mechanically good, mechanically sound, story's probably good, but it's just not really to their tastes. Inscription is one of my favorite video games ever made. If somebody looked at me and said, I don't know, roguelikes don't really do it for me, especially card roguelikes, I'm just not really that. Look, okay, fair. If someone said it was a bad game, I'd fight you, because it's not. It's amazing.
People seem to say you don't really get online. Same with that, or like
okay, again, if just to clarify once more, I don't want to keep pausing too much, but if you're in circles where people are saying this to you, you should get out of those circles.
Miyazaki from Software, same sort of thing. If you don't like Elden Ring, if you don't like Dark Souls, that's actually a you thing, because they're actually really, really good.
Yeah, it is a me thing. It is a me thing that I don't like Elden Ring. Elden Ring, from what I've seen everyone talk about that game, and from what I've seen of the game, Elden Ring looks like a phenomenal video game. It's too hard, and I'm a baby, and I'm sorry. That's literally I tried it. Admittedly, I don't think I tried it enough, but I tried it. I just can't really get into the Souls style of gameplay. It just didn't click with me. Yeah, there's literally, what are we doing here? And remember, guys, you're talking to me. I'm the guy who thinks that people like Arlo should be more hard. Go in, Arlo. Why are you being so kind? Go in on people. Yeah. But even I'll go, listen, from everything I've seen of Elden Ring, it's phenomenal. It's just, the gameplay style's just not for me, man. What are we doing here? I can admit that I'm not a fan of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It doesn't mean that their games are crap. It's just my taste of video games. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Oh, man. I am of the belief that I think people that review video games and talk about video games should be a bit more fervent with their beliefs. Literally one of my top lines on my Wikitubia. Yes, I think you should be more upfront and fervent and say it with your chest. But there's also a difference between this game sucks and this game is not for me. And I feel like people use them generally quite appropriately whenever.
Yeah. So, and I think like even when you talk about when you get more granular and it's like the stories in like a Souls game, it's like you don't get it because you're not the same level of fan as I am. You don't.
Or maybe they don't really like environmental storytelling, which I would think is a bit upsetting because I think it's one of my favorite types of storytelling. But from what I know, again, Souls bros, you can help me. Dark Souls type games tend to be quite hands off with the story and tends to be a bit like environmental, like logbooks or like books and what have you. I find that sort of storytelling really fun. I find it like it's one of the things I love about Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is a phenomenal video game to me, not because the gameplay is anything amazing. I think the gameplay is good, but it's nothing to write home about. But the idea, you piecing this story of how this planet ended up becoming like corrupted and what the Chozo did, piecing together that story as a kid was like one of my favorite things. Genuinely, like it gets me giddy just thinking about it, chat. And I fucking love that. And I can't wait to do it more in Metroid Prime 4 if they lean up more on that sort of storytelling, which they should do. So yeah, like that's the case. If somebody told me environmental storytelling isn't for me, they want something a bit more overt and clear, I'd be like, oh, I'd roll my eyes, but I'd be like, all right, fair. You know?
You don't like it because you don't get it, and if you were as good as me, you would get it, and then you would like it.
Yeah. Except I don't hang out with people who say it that pretentiously. Like I'm not going to pretend I wouldn't be annoyed if someone said they don't like Metroid Prime because they didn't get the story. I'm not going to pretend I wouldn't roll my eyes. Like I'm not going to be a cunt about it neither, and I wouldn't hang around anybody that is. Like, I think you just need better friends. That's what it is. Oh man, this poor guy, he has no friends. That's literally what this is, broski. If you're not self-aware enough to separate opinion from fact and respect other people's opinions, this is more about you than them. Yeah, literally, like, what are we doing here, man? Do you know, I like it when I've got an active narrative driving me along, but I'm not opposed. Depends on this, what serves the game better. Yeah, like, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Again, am I a little bit like, yeah, of course, but like I'm not going to be a cunt about it. You're totally fine for that. Like you're so valid, bestie. Like what do you mean? I think that's it for this timestamp, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So we got 33, 20, 26.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Peter, I think something that I'm really interested in seeing with Kirby Air Riders.
Yes, sir.
Is that
You said yes, sir. I think we know who wears the pants in this podcast, but interesting dynamic.
Really want to know what is going to happen in this contemporary environment where my perspective on this game, if I had to boil it down, for my blog, jakesteinberg.substack.com, I wrote a piece about...
I made a post on my Substack. He has one, gamers. I was joking. Yeah, you gotta go on my Substack. You gotta go on my blog. You gotta go on my Substack where I like write. Like I'm like a real journalist. I don't read stuff. That explains it. Explains it. He's a Substack Andy. But never met a person with a Substack that wasn't an obnoxious fuck. And it seems like you're one of the many people that proved the rule. Really. Just continue.
About Pokemon Black and White being what I call Reddit games.
Yeah.
And
Fucking hell, ref. Yeah. Oh man, listen, it's a Reddit game. Oh man, if I'm going to be at least maybe a little bit charitable when I shouldn't. Over the years, I've seen definitely a little bit of like too much gluck for that game, but I wouldn't call it a Reddit. I think that's like grade A slander. I think when people generally talk about Black and White story, they just say that it easily took it in the most interesting direction Pokemon ever has, I would say. I think SV took it in the most wildest direction, but I think what Black and White introduced in terms of like themes and like ideas is quite interesting. And it kind of leads the way for you to interpret the game or interpret how things would lead in other ways in an interesting fashion, I think. Like the whole concept that like a guy can talk to Pokemon and as a result he can figure out like, do Pokemon like that seems quite interesting to me. I don't know, like, and the themes of like the Black and White guys, it's black and white. We gotta separate Pokemon and people. Do Pokemon really like people? If we're going to the grass, are we like separating Pokemon from its mom? Like what the hell? Like, I think it opens up the door to some interesting conversations without being anything too crazy, but I guess it's a Reddit game.
This is a perfect example of this.
Yeah, and this is when...
even he agrees. Is he cooked, gamers? Is Guy on the right cooked? Pokemon Black and White is a Reddit game, yeah? Fucking hell, ref. He's cooked. I think he's the. Yeah, I don't think I can save him, gamers. He's cooked. I would say it's a game that takes the Pokemon story in the most.
The kind of ways in which people talk about a game, the myth surrounding the game over time grows to be more part of the discussion than memory of the game itself.
Oh, I actually agree with this. I genuinely agree with this. When it comes to like games and like how they're perceived, yeah, context gets lost over time extremely quickly. Like it happened with like, for example, the booster course pass. Do you know what I ended up seeing quite a bit of? Like a little bit of, not too much, but I ended up seeing a little bit of like, oh man, I'm so upset. Like, oh, the DLC's over. Like that's it. And I'm like, well, we went 5 years with just the same 48 tracks. Like, are we already getting antsy for more when we had 96? Like, are we crazy here? Like, are we okay? Like, what's happening here? Like, I think people like that sort of thing. It's really fascinating that happens, especially quickly when it comes to video games, which is why I think it's very, very important to replay games and view them through a modern lens, which is why retrospective, the idea of retrospectives is something that's very, very important. And the idea of like countering those sorts of narratives are genuinely quite important, you know? And that's something I strive to do, which is why whenever those sorts of discussions happen, I'm always intrigued to do a little bit more deep diving. Yeah, revisionist history tends to be wild sometimes, which is why I always try my hardest to replay games. Whenever, like, for example, let's say, for example, right now, the vibe was, like, for example, I actually got a good story for that. What's it, during the 2010s? For a lot of the 2010s, what was the opinion on Heart Gold Soul Silver chat? Best game ever, untouchable, best game ever. And then the Zoomers started to go back and play it and like, the fuck you mean best game ever? This game sucks. Then obviously the narrative now is, it sucks, at least from the Zoomers that are kind of like playing that, going back. Then obviously, what did I do? Did I just go, you guys are just like making up narratives? No, I went back to play the game myself. I was like, oh, we're in an era now where it's a bit more okay to criticize this game. Why don't I play this game again? A game whose opinion was kind of just set in stone. And let me see if I can form a new opinion. And like, yeah, I agreed. Like the level curve is ass. And I actually saw a lot of things I didn't understand. Another interesting one was Wario Enthusiast, actually. What was Mario Galaxy for the longest time, chat? Untouchable, best platform ever made. 10 out of 10, vibes, best sequel ever made, right? And then Wario Enthusiast comes along and says, and like Odyssey Central as well comes in and says, the game's slow. Why do some galaxies have like 10 stars and others have 1? What are we doing here, broski? Rosalina's not even that good. And I'm just like, fuck, really? Is that really like what? So then I went to replay the game and guess what? The movement didn't bother me because I don't think a lot of the levels require fast movement. And I thought the Comet Observatory ended up like, is just really fun and cool to explore. I think it's a very cool hub area. And I think overall, the game still holds up. I can understand it compared to modern platforms. It might not be as fancy as it used to be, but I still think it's really good. So whenever that revisionist history comes out now, I can go, I've played it again, so losers, go away. Don't you revisionist history me. That's why it's important to like, Mario Kart 64 is an excellent example as well, right? Best game ever made, untouchable. We go and play and we're like, broski, what are you talking about? This game sucks. And that's what I'd say to you, chat, is whenever like the revisionist history starts to come out, what you should do is, instead of going, no, play it yourself with this new lens and see if it holds up. With Heart Gold Soul Silver, when like the internet made it okay to criticize that game again, I replayed it. And yeah, there's a good chunk of the criticisms I agree with. And when I replayed Galaxy, when like people started criticizing that game again, I'm like, I can see it, but I humbly disagree. I actually braggadociously disagree. I still think it's a phenomenal video game. So yeah, like that's what you got to do, chat. It's up to you. Instead of being like this fucking loser, actually go play the game instead of like yelling at people, because it's just something that will happen. Revisionist history, the changes of narratives, context getting lost, is something that will like always happen. You know what I mean? Did I call it a 1? Did I call it a 1? Sorry, I meant 10 out of 10. But yeah, that's literally what you have to, as a more, you know, informed critic, ideally, would replay the game or like watch playthrough. You don't even have to replay, like maybe just watch a playthrough, like look at it again, like really analyze the game and figure out, okay, do you agree with this like new narrative that's going on? Is there someone in the middle? Yeah, I think that's very, very important to do, 100%. And I would recommend everyone does that.
More part of the discussion than memory of the game itself.
Yeah.
And the memory is actually not accurate to the ways in which people talk about it.
Which is why you replay the game,
I feel that part of the attraction of liking Kirby Air Ride, of being somebody that likes Kirby Air Ride, is because you like something that was ignored. So this game becomes a myth because nobody really plays it. And to like it now is to be in on the secret, to claim the gem that nobody else could see. But
hang on.
Myth is not memory. So
you're arguing with children. If what you're telling me is someone's going to form an opinion on Air Ride because they want to be in on the moment, that's a child. You're arguing with children on the internet. What are you... If there are genuinely, and I find it hard to believe, but I also could see it happening, that there are Kirby Air Ride hipsters, they are either children or they have the mental age of children, and you shouldn't... Interesting. Very interesting.
The internet's love of Air Ride, I don't feel, is really love at all. I feel that it is credential. It is performance. It is a badge that says, you know better. And
or maybe there's people who really like the original game, and after 20 years, they're finally happy they got a sequel. Is this like the saddest guy ever made, chat? Fucking hell, man. Is it so unbelievable? There's people. My fiance is excited for Air Riders because she has Air Ride. She played a lot of Air Ride when she was a kid, and by the time the game comes out, she's going to be over here in the in London. Like, we're going to play that game to fucking hell and back, bro. You joking me? That's going to be so much fun. It's like when It's like when Crash 4, It's About Time, was like coming out. Like, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I've always fucking loved Crash. Would you have called me a hipster? Do I have to prove the PS1 that I don't have because I sent it to Somalia, like a lot of my old consoles, with my copy of Crash to prove to you my credentials are... What are we... What are we doing here, man? This is unbelievable. This guy is arguing with, like, simulacrums of people that don't exist. That's the sad bit. That's the sad bit, gamers. Like, at any point he's been right about has been more so by accident, I would say. Oh, man.
Think that this game...
Like, literally, show me your gamer card. Show me your gamer card right now, or you're a fucking hipster. Hey. Show me. I want to see that fucking purple ass cube with the handle at the back, okay?
It's more an identity than it is play. And now, that's all well and good in the past. And when we talk about the myth, but now this game is coming out, and from your eyes, from my eyes, it looks very similar to the game that came out in 2003. So what is going to happen when myth collides with reality? Can nostalgia survive contact with the present? Because the new game will not be what people remember, because people never remembered the game in the first place.
People never. Okay, interesting.
Remembered the feeling of being the one who knew.
I mean, I guess for this, like, person you made up, like, sucks to be him, I guess. Sure. Oh, I just want to clarify, guy on the left, apparently you're boring Ian Murphy in the chat so much, he's just pretending to, he's cosplaying as Captain Falcon.
Can nostalgia survive colliding with the present, which I think is badass, to put it in a...
Oh, good heavens. Good guy on the right is cooked. I'm putting my hands up, chat. Guy on the right is fucking cooked. Holy shit. That is... I'm tired, boss. Oh, man. Guy on the right, please. I'm tired, boss. Help me. I
think that's quite good.
Thank you.
The thing that I would say is... Yes, it can, and it always does.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah, of course. I think...
I would say that I would agree in the sense that this is a trap that some people tend to fall for, but I think saying always is insane. I just think you guys have surrounded yourself with people who are gremlins and prisoners of the past when you should just hang around normal people. Because, like, normal people are going to go, oh, hey, Kirby Air Ride, I remember that when I was a kid. Oh, let me play it. Yeah. Like, yeah, I could imagine there's, like, some 40-year-old who's like, I remember playing Kirby Air Riders, and then he plays, like, I remember playing Kirby Air Ride, and then plays Air Riders, but then, like, it's not as fun because he has, like, taxes and a mortgage. But, like, there's probably going to be a good chunk of people that are just like, wow, this is just as fun as I remember it. That's how I felt about Crash the Insane trilogy. Like, bearing in mind, I played Crash when I was a fucking little babby, and I loved Crash Bandicoot. I played the Insane trilogy as an adult, and you know, I was like, wow, this is just as good as I remember. I fucking love this shit, man. And I played all 3 of those games, man. I played also Stormy Ascent as well, and I fucking love that shit, man. So yeah, for every person like this that you like, I would say you made up. I would say for every person like this who could probably be real, there's people like me that are just like, yeah, it's about as good as I remember. So insane that you haven't ever acknowledged that at all.
I think people love to remember things, and I think I would love to give people credit and say, like, we are able to.
Also, where's? Hang on, can I just? Gamers, where is bro looking? Is there like a fly on the ceiling? Where is bro looking?
People love to remember things.
Is he like milking his moment? Like, oh yes, that was a really good point, wasn't it? Yes, yes. He's looking at the teleprompter. Fucking, I'll fire the guy who wrote your stuff, mate.
And I think I would love to give people credit and say, like,
the Yandere death angle, that's diabolical, mate. I'll be real with you, that's diabolical.
We are able to discern these things. Wow. I would like to think that we can.
Okay.
In my experience, we cannot. In my experience, it just takes a single, like, pointing at the screen, be like, it's that thing, you know,
right
from before, you know that thing.
Well, yes, I can believe that there are people that fall for the I know what that is, but I would say to say that's everyone is insane. I would say maybe I'd give you that it's the majority, but there's still people that I don't know what to tell you, brother. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Guy doesn't want to listen, he just wants to talk, basically.
For people to be like, yes, I do, and I love it. That's why Funko Pops are huge. Do you know what I mean? Or
sure.
Huge. I don't know, not anymore. But you know what I mean? But, like, it's just this idea of, like, I think people who have made I Like Kirby Air Ride into their personality are going to encounter Kirby Air Riders and be like, and now for part 2, I love Kirby Air Riders as well.
Well, it's just funny to me because I think it's so clear that, and I'm not trying to pick on any individual Kirby Air Ride enjoyer,
no, of course.
But I do think that there is a large. Sure. I do think that there's a large audience of people who don't like the game as much as they like Reddit and retrospectives about the game and videos that show them how cool and ahead of its time City Trial was. But, like, I don't know if that is the same as liking. As a matter of fact, I don't think that is the same as liking the game. And I wonder what's going to happen when this game does not have this myth surrounding it, when it doesn't feed the part of you that is like, liking this is a credential, because now that it's a new game and everybody's playing it on Switch 2, you don't get any credential for being there.
What do I even say, gamers? This guy's just fucking miserable, man. Like, imagine gatekeeping a fucking Kirby game. Imagine. Or, conversely, I could believe that there is, like, someone who's, like, 20, for example, someone who wasn't really, like, born when the original Air Ride came out, and, like, it moved on, like, they got their first console as a Wii. I could believe that they're probably seeing all these, like, millennials around my age going, yeah, Air Ride was fucking great, it was great. And they're like, oh, was it? That's fucking, okay. And then, like, they play the game, and they're like, oh, shit, that was kind of neat. So, yeah, for every person who would probably hear the hype and get Ocarina of Time like I did, I could also imagine someone who played the game and it was everything that they were told it was. Yeah, like, there's two sides to this, you know? And that's what I don't get. I feel like you've hung around way too many hipsters, and you're pretending to be better than them. Let's go to next timestamp game. Let's go to the next timestamp.
The guy on the left used to be on Game Explain.
That explains a fuck ton. Actually, Starstorm, that actually explains a lot. That explains a lot. I'm getting real Andre energy from him, so that's perfect.
I like Kirby Air Ride. And I'm excited for Kirby Air Riders.
Okay, you don't really see it, but I'm glad.
We need to just, like, look at each other and say, like,
okay, what?
We need to be a little bit real about what we're dealing with here.
What we did. Okay, what's the real bit?
Have higher standards.
Yeah,
what do you mean by that?
Because I think something
it's okay to be excited. It's okay to be excited for this, but also, like, we just can't lie to ourselves and say, like, there's something really nuanced and deep going on below the surface here. Like, guys,
there might be, but sure, okay.
He said to hit left to go left. What are we talking about?
But then he also showed us that if you drift around the corner, like your character kind of stops in this way, and then you can kind of like burst forward. I thought that was a cool mechanic. And he showed us City Trial, and then he showed us the random events that can happen. And then he showed us like the target game, and then he showed us like the race. You know, like there's a lot of things he showed us. I thought they were quite cool, and it sold me on the game.
Sakurai could make Kirby Air Riders could be the greatest game of all time. It could be a 10 out of 10. I could get hands on this game, and it would not change the way that I felt about this presentation.
I mean, of course you wouldn't, because you've made up your mind and you don't want to change it. So of course.
Exactly.
That's my problem with this. And I feel a lot of people are like trying to cover themselves because they're like, Sakurai makes good games, and if I criticize his presentation, then it's like I'm seeding something that I don't understand about the game. And it's like, no, that's like not true at all. And if anything, there's a degree to which this whole presentation has kind of soured me on his style. And before, when he used to do these presentations for a fighting game and for something that I think justified it a little bit more,
I think you said
there was a degree.
What's not to justify about a Kirby game, but sure.
To which I liked it and it endeared me to him. And now it's one of these moments where I wonder if he even understands why it's so good, like why it works.
Yeah? You think that Masahiro Sakurai doesn't understand why Kirby... He made the game. I think he's the only person who understands, probably more, well, I won't say only, but the person who understands it the most. He made the damn thing. I mean, he certainly knows why more than you. I know better than Sakurai, trust me. That's literally what it seems like. What is happening here, broski? And I want to go back to what you said earlier. Hang on, just real quick. Hang on.
Sakurai makes good games, and if I criticize his presentation, then it's like I'm seeding something that I don't understand about the game. And
okay, again, if that is the level of discussion that you're having with someone, you're arguing with a child. Why are you arguing? Why are you arguing like this? If somebody's playing team sports with a game developer, why are you talking to them? Like, no, seriously, like, why? Why are you talking? Either you've made this person up, or it's a real person you interacted with, in which case, why are you talking to them? I think that's very, very weird that you would talk to someone like this. And if you made it up, why would you make up someone like this? Crazy stuff, gamers. He's in the making people online, and literally
like, he says like, isn't it just Mario Kart? No, haha. But the real fans understand, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he said like
no. He literally say. So you're wondering if this is just like Mario Kart, and then he cuts to a clip and goes, "Okay, it's kind of like Mario Kart." Wasn't that the bit?
こりゃマリオカートで良いですね。こりゃ完全にマリオカートで良いでしょう。
Real fans get it, or something along the lines of
there
that.
Yes, we discussed this at length in my Discord, and there was a back and
if anything, wasn't that just I interpreted that as a joke?
Forth that people misunderstood. And the idea is that he opens this presentation by saying, widely, people thought this, and people would tell you this. And then he switches his language, and then he says, but true fans know that the appeal of this game actually has nothing to do with racing. And he makes he feeds this kind of compulsion to be like, there are people that do get it and there are people that don't get it. And
okay, but like he was right though. That's the thing, he was right.
だけど何よりファンが知っています。このゲームの訴求点はレースではないと。
That's why you're wrong. Literally everyone told me, Mister, you're playing this for the city trial. And if Sakurai literally said, real fans, you know, you're playing this for the city trial. Like, yeah. Like, Sakurai knows his fan base that well that the fans told me, you're playing this for the city trial, mister, okay? Buckle up, little gut. Like, oh, am I? Like, oh, shit, I guess I am. Shit, Sakurai just knows? Yeah, and also, yeah, I think even if we're just... And even then, I think we're just overanalyzing what was obviously supposed to be like a joke, but...
The real fans get it.
Yes.
And the fake fans think that this game is just like Mario Kart. And some people misunderstood. And
no, it was just a dumb little joke, but okay.
They were like, oh, Sakurai's admitting that this game is a little bit like Mario Kart. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He is saying that the stupid people think that this game is like Mario Kart.
Oh my god! Holy shit! What dog shit interpretation of what was just a harmless joke. What was that? Holy shit! No, it was literally just a joke. Because, like, the joke is that, like, we had a kart racer, and now in a relatively short span of time, we're having another racer. So obviously Sakurai wanted to acknowledge that in a way that, like, came across a bit jokey. I think even in my direct reaction, I think I just, like, giggled at that because I thought it was kind of funny. This is unbelievable. This man hates the fact that Sakurai is someone, and this guy's fucking no one. He's making Substack blog posts to like 10 people, and Sakurai is doing the fucking game dev equivalent of the red carpet. This guy's just jealous. This guy, I've never seen a guy so bitter in my life. Holy shit, man. And like, this is the part where he would say, but I'm just asking, this is the part where he'd admit he's jacking off, which is Jaqing, by the way, which is, he's just asking questions. He's just asking questions. But like, I would say there's a difference between like probing as to the idol of Sakurai, and then there's what you've done here. Because if you're asking me, yes, I would admit to you that there is like kind of this idolization of Sakurai that I think could probably poison the discourse a bit more than it should. I mean, we've yet to see that because the game's not out yet, so maybe like we'll have to wait and see. But like based on like my interactions with Smash people, yeah, I would say that like the idolization of Sakurai has definitely like affected the way we talk about the game somewhat to some extent. And I would say it's a little bit unfortunate, a little bit annoying even. But like this comes across to, like you genuinely have a chip on your shoulder. That's what this genuinely comes across to. It's not like me where I'm just like kind of probing and I'm like questioning people's allegiance to a game dev that is just human like you and me. You're just bitter. That's what you're just bitter, broski. Who are you German? The way you bitter. Honestly, this is unbelievable.
Part, but yes. the real fan understand.
It's
but
actually way more than that.
As fans of the original game know, the appeal of this game is actually not the races. Whereas when he starts the presentation, he says the original was widely viewed as a racing game featuring Kirby. You race and battle with familiar characters around courses with different features, comma, or so they say. Or so they say.
Well, if you're asking me, I would be that they. Before I watched that, now, this is the one where I can ask you, chat. Before I saw the direct, I literally just thought this was Mario Kart with Kirby. Like, genuinely, I thought that. So I'm the they he's talking about. I'm the more casual consumer that's like, kind of looking from the outside, I'm not really informed. I'm like, I would say I'm probably closer to the general audience than you are. I'm literally one of those people who was like, oh, it's a second kart racer? Like, is it just like Mario Kart, basically? Like, but then I did it and I was like, oh, it's actually way different. Pretty fun, actually. I might have to try this.
This very, like, those people. That, like, almost an acknowledgement that the game was not critically well received, and the reason for that was because...
Or maybe he is acknowledging that this is a second kart racer released in the same year, and he's just kind of like, seeing that people will probably just flippantly write this off as like Mario Kart with Kirby, as I did when I first saw it. Reading way too much into it, bro. See, I'll be real with you. You're reading way too much into it.
They misunderstood what the game was. They didn't get it like you, the way that you get it. Yeah.
That's bro is seeing. Can I have what he's having, chat? He's seeing things. He's seeing things that we need Ghostbusters. That's what we need. We need the Ghostbusters in this house. This is insane. All right, we got, what's it, 2 more timestamps, I think, Jet? With this and one more. We're nearly there, gamers. We're nearly there.
It's going to... I'm so curious about how this game will sell, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. And that space where it's coming out about a month after Pokemon Legends ZA. It's coming out in November. Switch 2...
This is the Switch 2 holiday game.
Yeah, and obviously... it's not really, right? Because when you go into the store, the holiday games that occupy the most of the shelves are going to be Mario Kart and Pokemon Legends ZA.
Yeah.
And I am having a hard time putting my finger on the person who picks up their Nintendo Switch 2 to get as a gift for their kid, and then goes over to the store shelves and says Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah, over Mario Kart, over Donkey Kong. Yeah,
and
you're right. And Pokemon,
and over whatever. I think part of the reason this game is coming out in November is because there's going to be a big third-party Switch 2 game coming out in November, whether that be Elden Ring or some other dumb thing that we. I don't know.
I can see what is saying somewhat, in the sense that, yeah, like sandwiching Air Riders in like this gap between in this like gap next to Pokemon, for example, and then it's like we got Pokemon, PLZA, and Mario Kart, and then there's Kirby Air Riders. It definitely seems a bit weird, but this is one of those things where we'll see if it's a gamble, but we'll see if it pays off. You know, people do like Kirby. Kirby's like one of the isn't Kirby like game wise like one of the series with the most longevity? Hasn't like Kirby had like at least one game on like every major console since it fucking began? Like I think Kirby's like a bit bigger than some people give it credit for. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I think it's definitely an IP that people write off as smaller than it actually is. I definitely think so. Even I did for the longest time. But then when people pointed out to me like just how many games they have and just how many consoles, I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, Kirby's a real one. Kirby's a real fella. He's a real one for that. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And then they talk about sales for a long time. That's really boring, but Castform tells me to skip to about
Metroid. Like I don't know, man. It's when it comes right down to it, and we're looking at the Switch 2 overall sales, the best-selling games on Switch. Where is Kirby Air Riders going to be on that Wikipedia page? Is it going to be in the top 10? I don't think so. Is it going to be in the top 20? I don't know, dude.
We're just gonna have to see. And also, like, you have to understand that Nintendo doesn't really like base it off of like. They're not Square Enix, does that make sense? Where if a game doesn't sell like 10 million, like it's considered a failure. I feel like if Kirby Air Riders sells like a couple million, I think they'll be like, yeah, we're chilling. We're like balling here, you know what I mean? Sales, therefore. Like, and also, we don't know necessarily like how much it's going to sell within the lifespan of the Switch 2. Like, it might sell a bit slow to start, but they might pick up later. You know, like, it's literally within the first year of the console. Nintendo doesn't really care much about sales. Yeah, like, they're like one of the few companies that don't really care that much. Like, as long as the game comes out, which is quite refreshing, actually. So the sales conversation around Kirby Nintendo as a whole is a bit. But that's all the timestamps, chat. But, gamers, there's more. Castform added an extra note to this saying, for all intents and purposes, that should be where things end. And realistically, it is. Neither Sakurai nor Air Riders plays any part in the rest of the episode as they shift to talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza. We can end things there, do a quick Bravo 6, and log another react in the books. That being said, he writes in bold, I would be remiss to not include these timestamps because what they talk about regarding DK Bonanza, ... isn't something you'd find in most discussions on the game, to say the least. Also, rest assured, there's no Bonanza spoilers for this discussion whatsoever. Again, not the central focus, but I'll definitely call all of these a cast highlight. So apparently, from this point onwards, we're switching to DKB, and it gets a little crazy, chat. There we are.
There's something I admire about Donkey Kong Bonanza's disinterest in understanding the concept of clothes.
Okay, were you guys expecting that? What? Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about? Are we getting like some Substack essay? Oh no. Gamers, we're going into the pretentious zone. Oh no. Bum 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 ba da ba ba da da.
This week, I started playing DK's latest outing and was interested to see that the game starts with the great ape wearing corduroy pants, suspenders, and a hard hat right from the jump. Surely this means that Donkey Kong has finally eaten from the Garden of Eden, come to understand his innocent nakedness, and covered his shame alongside the rest of his kin. When a catastrophic natural disaster sucks everything down deep into the depths of the underground, however, Kong is rendered naked. This is not uncommon. This is not an uncommon occurrence. In the wake of natural disasters like tornadoes, many of them rip the clothes off people caught inside them. But instead of being horrified for DK, the rest of his primates and monkeys in his community hardly bat an eyelash at his nakedness. One of them, count him, one monkey, tells you, he says to you, did you lose your britches when the mine collapsed? But that remains the entirety of Donkey Kong's interest in discussing his clothes and lack thereof. Despite the horror of that lone monkey displayed, that lone monkey displayed at Kong's nudity, no one seems to be bothered by Cranky Kong and his propensity to let it hang. so to speak. In fact, there are plenty of characters in Donkey Kong Bonanza who, by the knowledge passed on to me in the early moments of the game
as he's cooked. Game
between DK and the horrified minor monkey, all know about their nakedness, and yet they embrace it. Perhaps they live in a world much more accepting of the natural order of our bodies, and the horrified minor was an outlier, a representation of the prudish nature of the viewer, of me. Perhaps my curiosity for this moment is meant to hold up a mirror to my own understanding of nakedness and the way clothes play a part in our culture. Or perhaps they just want to give DK some pants, so you're not thinking about his implied missing butthole as the camera positions itself behind him for the rest of the game. It honestly could be anything.
We're playing Yakuza. Skip the cards. I can't pin it. It's the chat is scrolling too fast. Yeah, I think we just skip the cutscene there. What do we even say to that, guys? What do we even say? If it was supposed to be funny, I don't think it landed. I'm sorry, man. That sort of genre of like over analyzing what is just like it's just video games, bro, is like, I don't know. I don't really find that sort of thing. Like we're past cinema sins. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just kind of like, didn't work for me. Okay, not the target audience. That feels like a Family Guy cutaway. Yeah, but at least like Family Guy's funny some of the time. This guy's been funny like none of the time. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go to the next timestamp though, gamers. This is getting interesting. I'm kind of here. Hang on. Remember, guys, these are the guys that called Black and White a Reddit game. But this is like Reddit humor. Let's see. Okay. This timestamp is called Peter's Reasoning for DK's Pants. And then there's a bit that's spoiler tagged, and Castform says, read this bit after. So let's watch this and read the bit after.
The answer is because Seth Rogen asked for it.
Okay.
Seth Rogen in an interview was, because he plays Donkey Kong in the movies, was like at some point, can we give this guy pants?
Wow.
Like it's ridiculous that he's running around without pants.
Okay.
Seth Rogen apparently does not understand that he is an ape.
Yes.
And does not, traditionally wear clothes.
Okay.
I do think a part of the reason is because of the implied butthole.
Yeah.
And because you are positioned behind him for the most part, the entire game. And the more you're positioned behind an animal, in my opinion, that you play as, the more you think about it.
I can't say this is something that I've ever... Guys, I don't even know. I'm genuinely lost for words. I usually have something to say. But I genuinely have nothing, gamers. Am I high? I'm just saying, Peter, I can't say that when an animal is faced away from me, I think about his butthole. I can't say I've ever done that, personally. You do you, Quinn? I can't say I've ever done that, though. Let's keep listening.
For example, in the game Stray, I don't know. I thought,
as somebody who's played Stray from start to finish, I streamed the whole thing. It was a very fun game. At no point while playing the game did I think about the cat's butthole. And I'm going to hazard a guess and say the vast majority of the human race don't think.
Thought about it a lot. The fact that I'm behind an animal that has its like tail raised up like this.
Yes.
Am I crazy for thinking about that? That like
you need to be in a straitjacket like yesterday. I'll be real with you, broski. I am upset that the insane asylums were all shut down because you'd be patient zero, broski. I'll be real. I'll be so real with you.
If I were in this position in real life behind a cat, I would move.
As somebody who owns a cat, I can't say that's something I've ever thought about now. And when I'm done with this stream, I don't think I'm ever going to think about it again. Now, Carson wanted me to unspoiler what he wrote, and I'm going to do that right now. Jake's theory is that they were trying to invoke the idea of Mario, but somehow that section was severely less interesting. So they're trying to invoke the idea of Mario by giving him clothes. to make the people think that it's Bing Bing Woohoo Man, but it's Ape. Interesting, Mr. Peter. I don't think he can be saved, gamers. Do you know how I said that we can save him? I take all of that back. Chat. There's no saving this man. All right. The next timestamp, chat. Oh, guys, if you're wondering, Musty, surely... No, guys. It keeps going. This next timestamp is called Anthro Characters and Clothes.
Like, anytime there's like anthropomorphic animals, they do not want you to think about their clothes. And
again, I can't say this is something I've ever thought about. I'll be real with you, Pete. I think you're kind of on your own here.
They do not want you to think about what those clothes say about them. So, for example,
I'll be real with you. Do you know what the worst part is, Chad? Do you know actually what the worst part is? Look at this guy's face. This guy's uncomfortable. How have you got... This is the first time, chat, all of us are agreeing with guy on the left. Guy on the left is, like, visibly wincing. Like, just look at it again. Look at him.
They do not want you to think about their clothes. And they do not want you to think...
You see, look at his face, like... Because he would rather stop this train of thought, but he kind of doesn't want to. You know what I mean? Like it's rude. Like, he's got a co-host, like, he doesn't want to... You know what I mean? He's like... Okay, I guess I gotta let this conversation fly.
Think about what those clothes say about them. So, for example, in Sonic...
Like, he's nodding to kind of feign interest, but he's kind of like... I think this is revenge for the whole thing. The Sakurai problem and animal buttholes would have been a fire title. Honestly, it would have been. You should change it.
Okay. Sonic wears shoes, but that doesn't really count, right? Like, as far as like what we think about clothes as. Yeah. But all of the women characters have to wear clothes because they give them these curves, right?
Peter, that's crazy.
It's a whole thing. But they do not want you under any circumstances to think about it because it implies a bunch of fucked up stuff that either Sonic's running around naked and he knows that, or that like they make the women like hide their bodies out of shame or whatever. But then to have, and I'm just going to send you this picture of Donkey Kong.
Guys, put the fursuit in the bag, little bro.
Kong standing next to Cranky Kong in this game. It's sort of this interesting thing that, like, if they were to not address Donkey Kong's clothes and the fact that he lost them, I don't think that this would be like make me think about this maybe in this way. But the fact that like the first thing that happens is you lose your clothes and then someone like comments on it. I'm like, that means that they know that Donkey Kong is naked. That means they know that Cranky Kong that's Cranky Kong. Yes, the old man.
Yes.
I guess he's not a man, but like he's just wearing a shirt, no pants.
Musty, this or the Game Grumps N-word compilation? I'll get back to you on that one as we go to the next timestamp. Gamers, it keeps going. Musty, surely it's... Nope, gamers, we're in it for the long haul. I'm not going to tell you the name of this timestamp. We're just going to listen.
I wonder if it's something about us that's changed.
Oh my god.
I wonder if we view him as a person. I wonder at what point he was granted personhood.
Guys, by giving him clothes, we have given him personhood. He's a person now.
I agree. I think that there was this Donkey Kong before the redesign who was
yes, that's what it is.
I'd be less insulted and uneasy if he just said he wanted a coconut cream pie from Donkey Kong. I'd be real. Crying face emoji.
This Donkey Kong before the redesign who was
yes, that's what it is. Like they took him from being an animal into being a man.
Yes, he's a big furry man now.
Yes.
They're big guy, little guy stories. We've seen these all throughout games and media at large. God of War, Kratos and Atreus, The Last of Us, Joel and Ellie. What is this? What is this? Donkey Kong and Pauline? Big guy, little guy story?
Yeah, he is.
Wreck-It Ralph?
Is that what this is? Is this supposed to be Wreck-It Ralph? Because it's the most Wreck-It Ralph thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay,
is this the whole thing?
It's tough because like Wreck-It.
I feel like this is a conversation that like you guys should be having like over beers and not on like a podcast. Like, granted, it's not really that popular, so who's going to watch this anyway except me? But yeah, I don't know, man. Gamers, okay, I will reveal. This is the final timestamp, gamers. It's the final timestamp. Pastform has written this in all bold, gamers. He writes, warning, warning, warning. I am putting this in all bold because last time apparently it wasn't effective enough. It gets off the rails here. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll drop a question related to it. What are your thoughts on King Kong? I can't say I really think about King Kong, but like, I don't know, he's kind of cool, and he's like an ape, and then like he climbs the building, and then goes like, rah, and then like swats the planes, and he's in Fortnite. That's what I think about King Kong. What do these guys think about King Kong?
The degree to which the tie says I dabble in civilization and the pants say I live in civilization.
Well, I mean, if you really want to break it down,
yeah.
I mean, Donkey Kong obviously heavily influenced by King Kong.
Yes. Okay.
And there's been a lot of writing about this. So excuse me if I'm not saying this as eloquently as it's been written or with the exact like right message, but there's a lot about, so what does King Kong do when he gets to New York City in like the original? He steals the woman, right?
And he climbs the building,
and he steals this
I'm with you
white
so far.
blonde woman. And Kong comes from
white blonde woman? Is that where this is going? Hang on.
Africa. And so there's been this writing about how King Kong is a film. Maybe it was a book too. I don't remember.
Wow, it's like a fear of the white man?
No, it's a fear of the black man.
No.
There's chat, there's no way. Peter, please. Don't go there. We're not at the PONR, brother. This is not, please.
I'm sorry, a fear belonging to the white man.
And it's this idea of like, Kong wants to fit into the world. He wants to be. He wants to fit in. He wants to do all these things, but he can't because he's fundamentally different than you and me, right? Because he's a gorilla. He's an ape. And
you think apes are black people? Is that the implication we're making here? I just thought King Kong was like a big ape that like climbed the building. I can't say I ever thought of King Kong and thought it was like, oh, it's like he doesn't belong. Just like black people in the 60s. I can't say I've ever thought of that, Pete. I'll be so through with you, broski. I just thought it was Big Funny Ape.
See, this is an extraordinarily racist. It's an extraordinarily racist.
He just says it. No, he just says it, gamers.
This trope, right?
Is this when? So are you saying black people are apes? Chat, I want you to help me. Gamers. Have you ever assumed King Kong was an allegory for black people? I just want to make sure it's not just me. Because I can't say I've ever done that. I just thought it was Funny Ape. And he punches the Godzilla. I can't say I ever thought about it this way. And it seems like no one in my chat has ever thought about it this way. I don't know what... I don't know if you're like on something, Peter, but I think you should go back on it or off it. I don't know. Something has to happen. Something has to change. Because I'm genuinely shocked. I had to pick up my phone and stop listening to this on the background. Holy shit, what a wild thing to say. Well. Like a moth to a flame. Typical dark is still in the white woman. That's what he thinks of black people. Yeah.
And Donkey Kong, obviously heavily inspired by King Kong. And what...
Oh my... Gamers. Donkey Kong is racist. Oh my... Gamers. Donkey Kong is... That's where we're going with this. Yeah, Donkey Kong is racist. That's where we're going with this. Holy shit.
What does Donkey Kong do? What is the first thing we know about Donkey Kong? He steals a woman to... away from Mario. Is Donkey Kong wearing the tie in the original Donkey Kong?
No shot. That like pixely guy?
Yeah, I can't. No, he's not.
No shot. Yeah.
So the question then I would have to do some research on that I don't think I want to do in this moment because we're doing an audio podcast is discover when he wore the tie first and what that says about it and whether he is cosplaying as a person. Is he's trying to become a person.
Okay.
And if
or maybe the tie is just a nice decorative like signet. James, is this rock bottom, chat? Is this the worst video we've ever covered, like ever made? Holy, I don't even know what to say. Donkey Kong is... We've gotten to the point where Donkey Kong is racist. Broski, the curtains are blue.
We are to understand him in the same context we understand.
So the implication we're making is that, like, what, was it not Sakurai? Like, Miyamoto? Is Miyamoto a racist? I mean, I know Japan is quite xenophobic, but, like, I don't think he was thinking about black people when he made Donkey Kong. I think he was probably thinking of Popeye, because that was the original game he was going to make before he couldn't get the rights.
King Kong, where he is not a person. And it's this horribly, horribly racist thing.
And now
this is why you should join our Patreon, because where else are you getting these discussions other than Critical Error? Become a part of the nation. Patreon.
I would rather drink bleach than subscribe to your Patreon, broski. At least that would be more informative, because then I'd learn not to drink bleach. Fuck my life, man.
Patreon.com/critical error. Only place you're getting the Donkey Kong, King Kong horrific history of racism connections.
That friend that's so woke they belong in an insane asylum. That's what this is. If what I've listened to you is anything to go by, I think you guys are not worth the digital cyberspace you inhabit. And I think in a past life, you guys would have had tomatoes thrown at you daily. That is what I've gleaned from this time-stamped hour-long podcast. And I am a lesser man having watched any of this. But hey, at least it was funny. I laughed a bunch. So hey, that's what really matters in the long run, huh? What do you make of that, chat? You should delete your account now. This is one of the most Reddit videos. and bearing in mind, this is coming from Reese. He's like the person online. He's like Mr. Reddit. You know what I mean? Of course, we'll have a look, gamers. Let's have a look at what the comment section thought about any of this. Shouldn't be a lot of comments because it's obviously a small video, but let's have a look, gamers. 2,200 views, too many, broski. I'm left completely unsure what exactly you two disliked about the Direct, but I know exactly how you feel about some random Twitter users who seem to think Kirby Air Ride is the best game ever. Like, okay, what does that discussion have to do with the Direct we've seen? It seemed like, I've liked all your previous discussion, but this one felt mean-spirited and directionless. And this comes from someone who's a fan. You know it's bad when your own fans are cooking you, chat. Was the Direct a fun time with our good friend old Sakurai? Yes, as always. But was everyone looking forward to the first look of that game with an established precedent and high expectation from a director that set the bar higher and higher? Of course. When you finished watching the Direct, you asked this, was it necessary for a game as simple and traced over the first game? No. That's what they're saying. Having a back and forth, unbiased, nuanced discussion might be directionless, but at least you can see many perspectives at that point to a direction of thought instead of being headed through a sheer blind faithfulness. What a fucking dog shit word salad. Fuck my life, broski. Retype the comment, broski. Get out of here. Jake, I usually love your stuff, but this is so mean-spirited. It feels like a bad faith argument. As someone who hasn't played the original Air Ride, I can easily point out the presentation that made the game look more appealing to me. The characters have unique abilities that mix and match with the properties of each part, and the way you gain speed by riding over rails. Yeah, literally, basically all I said. Literally. It feels like the problem here is that you went into the presentation wanting to be won over by a sequel to a game you didn't like, and you simply didn't get that. That's a totally valid feeling to have. You don't have to say people are making stuff up to look cool. And a bit about Sakurai's game design, as obvious to people who apply critical thinking is weird. Like, I'm sorry people aren't as smart as you. Yeah, but even your own fans aren't eating your bullshit. Oh, hang on, he replies, gamers, he replies. I think you are conflating a couple of my points. My issue with the presentation that is 45-minute Sakurai TED Talk that doesn't justify if the information actually provided. It does. I learned something, and a lot of people learned something. A trailer could have accomplished communicating all that info he did in a much succinct and entertaining way. No, I was thoroughly entertained by the 45-minute Direct. I think Sakurai gets a pass because of his cult of personality. Claiming that there's insight is not the same as being insightful. I'm still waiting for the piece to be written about the revelation Sakurai's brought to us. Or maybe he just wanted to showcase a game that had no previous footage showcased, and he did so in an entertaining way. Wait, that's Jake Steinberg? Who else do you think this was? Alfonso, who do you think this was, bro? God dang. Yeah, another goat of Alfonso's cooked. Alfonso, you need to stop having goats. Secondly, you didn't play the original, but you're interested in this game? That's great. I'm not saying you're interested in this game for fake reasons. All I'm saying is the interest in the original 2003 game, a game that was not particularly well received and is relatively inaccessible in the modern era, is largely performative of gaming circles online. Okay, again, firstly, who cares? And secondly, if they are, just let them. Who gives a shit? If anything, what you should do is you should laugh at these people, and then eventually when the game comes out and they're like, the game's not as good, but laugh at them some more. Like, why are you like talking down like you're this like holy? If anything, let them figure out that they're being stupid and then laugh at them for being stupid instead of being pretentious about it. I personally think that method is way better. But I suppose, yeah, not everything revolves around you, bub. You got bubbed by Danny in my chat, broski. I'm saying the game built a following larger. I'm saying the game built a following bigger than its original fan base over time through extraneous media. That's kind of what the internet does, yeah. I found Sakurai's YouTube channel fine for explaining basic game design elements to lay people, but not particularly useful insight tool when deployed outside the fleeting charm of watching the videos. I won't take it personally if people feel differently. Okay, then... God, even in comments, he sounds so pretentious. Holy, lay people? Fucking... Yeah, what is this guy, bro? This guy needs to, like... Can I tell you, he's like... He needs to put his brain in, like, a washing machine or something, bro. Move out some of them wrinkles, man. To say interest in the original game's performance is disingenuous, to say the least. Games exist outside of their immediate critical reception, and as time goes by, people tend to reassess their feelings on a game. Sure, people may have heard of it first in retrospective or Reddit thread, but this game has been a staple with Kirby fans and the speedrunning community for a long time now, and the way before Sakurai even was a noble personality online. Also relatively inaccessible. The most popular GameCube emulator is over 20 years old at this point. Air Ride has been stable for at least half that time. As someone who's into emulation for a bunch of systems, the GameCube is one of the most straightforward ones. Yeah, cooked. Gamers, look at this ratio, chat. 0 likes, fucking actually destroyed. Hooked and cooked, broski. You're finished. You're never working in this town again. I also don't get that this could have been done in a trailer argument, when the issue is instead of just shitting out a hang on. Where's the issue instead of just shitting out a trailer and actually putting in work and making a nice presentation where the director explains the game in detail? If you're going to come with this, why bother doing Nintendo Directs at all? Why do E3 or Gamescom? All the announcements could have just been done in a tweet, right? True! You guys are just complaining that... You guys are just complaining so that you could yap another hour and seem smart when you're actually doing completely valueless discussion on an issue for the sake of it. Watching this felt like you're writing an essay in school and you need to fill out pages just to suck arguments out your fingers. Fucking absolutely cooked. Mr. Nihon fella. Fucking from across the pond, broski. Fucking destroyed by Mr. Japan. Fucking send him home, mate. Send him home in a body bag, toasted and roasted, man. Also, I think you forgot the large amount of Switch owners are not game journalists who played a niche GameCube game 20 years ago, or experts who think about the intricacies of game design or the industry all the time. Most of the audience probably just want a good, insightful direct. Literally me. This was literally me. This is literally me. I just wanted a good, insightful direct, and guess what? I was full up. People glaze Sakurai because he's fairly consistent track record of quality releases, and is also a rare breed of Japanese game developers fairly open about the process. He had a weekly comment on Famitsu for nearly 20 years. He was just nerding out some little details in his new video game. That's pretty neat. Also, Kid Icarus is an all-time stone cold classic action game, probably one of his finest games in the genre. That's a double truth nuke, really. This video is terrible, but of the 6 I've seen since I subscribed, 3 of them threw me off, and one of them I enjoyed. I watched these guys and enjoyed them off one video. I don't know, guys. I don't know. If this video is anything to go by, I don't know, man. All I'm saying is I'm not subscribing. I don't understand why it's brought up several times that Kirby Air Ride was not positively received by critics initially, as if the grand majority of chatter about it is somewhat manufactured or something. Yes, there's likely a small portion of people who are just saying words, either haven't played the game this or the last decade, haven't played it at all. At the same time, it's just likely those folks are outnumbered heavily who just enjoyed it and delved deeper into it than most people did. The original Kirby Air Ride is a niche but active, dedicated competitive scene for City Trial, who've done everything of making forks to dolphins to just net play to making a more competitive focus from mod playing. There is depth to sink your teeth into, and the fans aren't wrong for pointing that out. Fair enough if anyone doesn't see or enjoy it, but most fans aren't trying to gas out for no reason. Literally true. He just thought I heard a noise. He just made up someone to get mad at, right? That's literally what he did. The fact that Masaya Sakurai asked Takahashi and Mitsuru if they still wanted Air Riders, specifically because Mario Kart was already coming out, signals to me that he didn't mean those early comments in any kind of insidious or malicious way. People who didn't enjoy the original. He understands that and at least presents itself as a racing game, regardless of if he intends to or not. Literally true. He understands how it could affect the game received and sales. It's not meant to be pretentious. I'm sticking at the nose at you naysayers who just don't get it kind of way. Sakurai didn't intend for Smash to be his hardcore competitive fighting game or anything like that. It's still a party action game to him, but understands that people love the game competitively and does quite a bit to accommodate the kind of player as well. I do think it's fair for him to point out. I do think it's fair to point out if something you made was interpreted in a way you hadn't expected or disagree with some people, especially since it seems like the dev teams still will listen to feedback of the original racing games to make it more engaging. Why are the comments more interesting? What's going on here? Why are these comments like just way more insightful and interesting? We just read the comments the whole time. Original Kirby Air Riders is deceptively complex. The minimized control scheme makes people think it's basic, but it almost makes it controls more complex because several mechanics are tied to the same button. This is a very nuanced tech that isn't inherently intuitive to casual players will miss. Sakurai explains some of these controls and techs right off the bat so people don't miss it. The low quantity of buttons being utilized with this game having a small basic moveset. Basically exactly like you guys are doing right now. Fucking hell, man. I don't get the issue here. It seems like Sakurai just likes making presentations like this. I didn't really care for the game, so I didn't finish watching the direct. But based on Sakurai's explaining, I'm not sure why you seem to think it's a grand secret that he's unveiling for people to be... this grand secret he's unveiling for it to be interesting to people. I heard several points that seem to directly contrast the design philosophy of Mario Kart World, and I found that pretty interesting. The vibe I got from watching other people's reactions that fans of the original consider it more than just a racing game, and Sakurai is explaining to new players, first, the racing mechanics, and how it's used beyond the racing and the city trial mode that everyone seems to love. Just felt like he didn't want people walking away thinking it's just another Nintendo racing game like Mario Kart, then Kirby Air Riders has its own specific identity. And so if he wants to spend 45 minutes on that, then I'm cool with it. Yeah, literally. I left the presentation going, oh, it's not just a racing game. Yeah, so he did his job. I'm struggling to understand why a game that is respectfully designed purely as entertainment from the widest possible audience by a company who probably does not consider what they make to be art requires a level of scrutiny this deep. True! Nevertheless, even if we take the leap and engage with the game as a text, I can't help but feel like you're misconstruing simple material analysis of why Air Riders looks and is designed the way it is as dismissals of criticism. It's like if someone asked, why is Grand Budapest Hotel shot and color grade like that? And then dismissed explanations of Wes Anderson's cinematography style as Reddit explanations. Fucking, these guys truing. Are literary or artistic thematic reasons why he did it? Almost certainly. Do they exist in a vacuum, totally unrelated to his personal aesthetic or stylistic proclivities? Absolutely not. A pure literary appraisal of Air Riders, or let's be more accurate, Kirby Air Riders Nintendo Direct, because none of us have played the game, it's just as incomplete as one focused purely on the technical, financial, or aesthetic appraisals. This guy's getting cooked by someone just as smart as him. Oh my god, evidently, you know, just as big brain, huge, quite crazy as him, you know? If you're asking, what does it mean that this game looks the way it is? You have to be open to the possibility that the explanation may not be as satisfying, or that even if it can be found within a specific critical lens. Games are not made with purely artistic intent, even especially a Nintendo game. Games are art, but there's also technology, code, and engineering. They're software. They're commodified products made with budget and timelines. They're made by people who use different tastes and styles and priorities. Sometimes a question will come up during development, for example, how do we design the UI? And there are multiple answers to the question, all informed by different perspectives. And a solution that is picked may not be literary or artistic, maybe due to financial and technical reasons, but it might be Sakurai likes them to be functional and simple, and his wife designs them that specific style that's consistent between all the games she works on. Literally. You don't have to like or agree with the explanation, but it's an explanation, or crucially, an accurate one, even if it isn't informed by your lens of appraisal. It's not excusing any issues or invalidating your criticisms. Important, if you don't have the answer or you can't find one in your preferred critical lens and you feel it's a major infraction on the part of the game or its developers, the next step is simply to divest, both in discussion and or Air Riders as a product. You can, as critics should, explain why a divesting and personal divestment must eventually take place. And crucially, you cannot try to make others divest as well. Fucking hell. Because if you do, you risk attempting to police other people's experiences and tastes that don't conform to your own opinions, and that's a zero-sum battle. At this point, you're taking the fandom culture you claim to be critical of in one breath, but now stoking the flames with the next. You don't fix fandoms, you divest from it. Fuck it, I don't even know what to say. Literally, basically what he's saying, in short, is if you are analyzing things from a certain critical lens and it doesn't seem to be aligning with how other people analyze things, and the fandom isn't to your taste, just leave. That's literally what he said in short, and I agree. Literally, he said what I say in like a lot of fancy schmancy words, and you know what? You deserve it. Fucking hell, man. I don't know what to say. We're treating this thing as a revolutionary, revelatory thing. And we just learned so much about Kirby Air Riders. Who? Literally hit him with the who gamers. Hit him with the who. I woke up at 9 AM and watched Sakurai be a pleasant nerd about his new game, and that was that. Are you on Twitter all day? Are you on Twitter all day or something? You're disappointed that a showcase didn't blow you away, so you make an hour-long podcast making up straw and arguing with yourself so your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. You already knew what the game was about, and you felt like your time was wasted a bit. Now let's go play and have some fun and enjoy our lives before dead and buried in the ground. Is anyone going to talk about like the fucking King Kong bit, or like did everyone just tab out? I think everyone tabbed out of the King Kong bit. Critical error. I think you've made a critical error in regards to this thing. It should have been a simple case of the direct wasn't for me, and I didn't really feel that satisfied with the result of it. And you should have just kind of left it at that and moved on with your day. But instead, you decided to make an hour-long self-fellatio on why you're so smarter than everyone else, and everyone is a dumb goopy brain. And also, Donkey Kong is a racist, kind of. Easily one of the worst videos to ever do it. And quit. I mean that with partial sincerity. Quit while you're behind, boys, because it is not getting any better than this, all right? And it's already pretty shit. And we'll leave it there. Fucking hell. I don't even know what to say, gamers. Donkey Kong is racist now, yeah? What else will the wokes take from us? Fucking hell, ref.